Hey, you out there. You want some culturally concise commentary? You want some co-hosts who actually are authentic and real, and you can tell that they actually have some type of chemistry going on? You hate cloud chasing? That's cool. I actually got something in mind for you. So keep listening. You'll find out.
This is Touchdowns with Tangents, your weekly spot for NFL takes, culturally concise, tangent, and context for the culture.
Hey, Pete, that's how you do a proper fucking intro.
Said, but okay.
I didn't say anything. I just properly hit the buttons correctly. It's Kinsbury, Touchdowns and Tangents. We got usual suspects in here. About to have a couple more guests. And yeah, man.
We have quorum.
What'd you just say?
We have Touchdowns and Tangents quorum tonight. Nikki's in the house. I'm in the house.
Howdy.
Everybody showing their face except Pete. Just because you called me visceral off the air, I'm gonna do something fucked up to your room before I leave. Just FYI.
I'll be back before we're done recording.
Why? Why would you? See,
I thought you were at some fancy tech event or something.
That's what I'm saying.
I am, but I'm over it. There's too many New Yorkers in there for me, man.
So you can't hang? You can't hang with the East Coasters? Disgusting.
People get in a room of 100 tech influencer, cloud chasing people, drunk and caffeinated, and then telling them to be quiet and listen to a panel.
You have the panel before, and then shouldn't you have the panel before, and then drink after? That's just common sense.
Yeah, or I don't know, not right an industrial space, maybe a space that actually has like acoustics and walls, so you can like funnel some of the sound different ways, or
at least just do a sound display off all the walls, and then people can go get the food in the middle of the room.
Totally bitching about the sound. They're like, why did they do the sound like that? And nobody ever thinks about sound at these things. Like,
bro, they literally have silent parties.
The stage in the corner. Like the stage looks cute up front, but guess what? The sound sounds like shit.
They literally have sound parties, like quiet parties, where you can just go and wear headphones the entire night. Like how the fuck?
Yeah, it's called a silent DJ.
Yeah,
silent disco.
That's the version white people gave it once they took it over from black people because they saw it was culturally relevant. But that's a whole nother story. But yeah, literally, like silent parties exist. I don't know why they don't have it in those spaces. But we have a guest from Pete. You there, Pete?
Yes, sir. What's up, Fernando? How you doing?
How you doing, man?
So
good. So we have Fernando from the San Diego Union Tribune, Chargers beat reporter.
It's actually the Sporting Tribune.
Oh, Sporting Tribune. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry.
Yeah, man. I had a little bit of tequila and mezcal before, so forgive my GFE. Yeah, we can hear you.
Not only that, he's
can you
one.
Hear us? You hear us?
I'll finish introing him. So he's one half of Compas on the Beat podcast with a friend of the show, Gilbert Manzano. Funny thing is, P was like, "Hey, so I got this guy Fernando on." So I googled your name and I was like, "Pete, he literally does a podcast with Gil, and we're having Gil on this week." I was like, "Yeah, small world." He said you were his Paul Heyman, so I was like, "Damn." Now I can't wait to talk to him. I can't wait to.
This guy,
the advocate.
He wishes he was a tribal chief. He's more. You know what? He's more like Solo. He's my. No, he's not my muscle. That'd be Dan.
He's your silent shooter.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what Gilbert would. I think he'd be the diva next to me, the cute little diva that stands on the side. There you go. That's what
Damn.
Gilbert is.
Yeah, he's Naomi. He's Naomi during the glow era.
There you go. He's Naomi. He's Naomi. He's there to look cute.
He's gonna be
He's there to
hurt.
look cute.
He's gonna be hurt when he comes on. But yeah, man. Give everybody your background, your start, how you got involved in journalism, and also your love of wrestling, because I hear that too.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, I was going through, in high school. I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was one of those kids that I liked math. I was good at math. I hated it. I was good at history. I was really good in English. I liked doing weird like making up stories and doing stuff and stuff like that. But I never knew what I wanted to do. I decided not to go to a 4-year. I go to community college.
Whoa.
And yeah, so hey, and you know what? It's funny. The old generations, like I remember, they looked like a lot of people look down on me. Like, you're going to community college. I'm like, hey, that's kind of, if you don't know what you want to do, that's the route to go. There's no shame in that. So
And how much money did we save on student loan debt?
Exactly.
That first year of college is a
I
myth.
lived at home. Exactly. Hey, I had, from my high school, there was 35 kids that got sent home after their first year of college because they either flunked out, they couldn't handle it, or they had mental breakdown, or whatever it was, and they got sent back home. So I mean,
Freshman 15.
So they were at
rough.
community college with you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. One of the kids that actually made fun of me for going to community college, I'm in school one day, and I'm like walking by with one of my friends. I'm like, dude, do you see who that is? And he's like, no way. And I was like, what's up, bro? And then he's like, I was like, are you here just touring? Are you here to pick up your girlfriend or something? Or what are you doing here? Like, what do you, I was like, no cute chicks over at UCSD? Like, what's going on?
Damn.
And then he's like, I'm like, are you just taking a course here? Are you good? And then he's like, yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, hey, I'm like, but sorry, we can't all be geniuses like you, right? I'm like, and then he like looks at me and he's like, you know what happened, don't you? Yes, I do, Mr. 0.6 GPA. I was like, I know exactly what happened.
God damn,
and
how
he
do you
looks at me and he's like, yeah, I shouldn't have been so mean to you. And I was like, hey, it's cool though. I was like, but it's water under the bridge or whatever. I was just giving him a hard time, but
GPA points under the qualification
it was
rate.
bad. Yeah, it was bad. So I go to, I ended up in community college. I go to one of those career fairs and I see journalism and I'm like, I was like, you know what? I mean, and I grew up watching sports and I remember Cold Pizza with Skip Bayless and I remember all these different shows that there used to be. And honestly, my grandfather got me into sports because my father's he's not a sports fan. Like my mom isn't either. My mom started to once I started working in this, but my grandfather was the one that was into sports 100%, loved them, and I started doing journalism. Actually, one of my dad's coworkers was he had an in with the Chargers in a sense, and he's like, "Would you want an internship with them?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that'd be awesome." So I go in, do the internship. I apply for the internship. I get in. And basically, that's kind of how I got my in. And I've been now around the organization for this is my 11th season around the organization. So I've been really blessed and lucky with all the different opportunities I've got to have. I mean, I've met incredible people like Gil, like Eric Williams, MJ Acosta. Like I met some incredible people that have impacted my life. So, and that one thing that I've learned is never burn any bridges. Be nice to everybody. You just never know whose day you're gonna brighten or who's gonna be like, hey, all of a sudden, like, hey, are you looking for a job? Because I have this, or you just never know. So it's I've met some incredible people along the way, and that's been, I think the journey has been the fun part about this is the fact that the people that you've met along the way, the relationships and all that. So that's been an incredible part of this.
Man, let's clap it up for that real quick. JUCO product all the way to covering being around the Chargers for 11 years. As a Raiders fan, I respect your dedication.
I mean, it's a career, and honestly, I've been really, like I said, I've been lucky, I've been blessed so far. in it. So I'm really lucky to be in the position that I'm at. And I'm very excited about what's coming, especially with the podcast and all this other stuff that we're doing.
And speaking of what's coming and, you know, relationships and all that, Gilbert, we got this man. He newly hired at Sports Illustrated. Writer.
Yeah.
Monday morning. Was it morning? I always forget. Monday Morning Football.
Quarterback.
There we go. I don't know why I keep
yeah.
saying it wrong.
First of all, I just want to say I'm tired of hearing Fernando's origin story. I've heard it many times. He's covered the Chargers for nearly a decade. I get it, Fernando, but it's a good story. Sorry.
Can we get an updated picture of you? That's an old picture.
Hey, I've been on this show many times before. You're probably a first timer, so I know it's audio only. So I came ready this time.
It's like the Zoom's not going to be published. Don't worry. But that's the best part is, I mean, you know, you guys do Compass on the Beat. You know, obviously, I know a thing or two about a co-host with an origin story that he may or may not find annoying. How did y'all link up? How did y'all get started? And just full disclosure, I mean, Fernando, he called you as Paul Heyman. Like, what is Gilbert? Like, is Gilbert the tribal chief? Like, what are we doing here? Is he Jay? Is he Jimmy?
Gilbert, I told him the truth. You're Naomi. You're the cute. You're the cutie. You're there to make me look good.
He pops the crowd.
Wow.
Naomi during the Glow era.
Wow, I give you a legend in Paul Heyman. You give me somebody who's not even in WWE right now, or she back? That's I'm a casual, so I forget.
Hall of Fame resume. She has a Hall of Fame resume.
See, I know stuff.
She's at TNA.
Okay, see, but I wasn't trying to say I'm Roman Reigns.
I know.
It's more like you like to talk more than I do, and there's times it works to my benefit because we play kind of bad cop, good cop. You know, good chemistry there. And there's times like, you know what, Fernando, I'm not feeling like talking today. And then he takes over and he sees me struggling. You know, I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I need to be a DMP. And Fernando here, being a good friend that he is, takes over. And sometimes there's people that he doesn't like to talk to. And we won't name names, but he takes one for the team. And he looks out for me. So I think it's a good balance. And
so you're Brock.
Times where there's
Brock
I get a little chatty. I get a little chatty. Fernando kind of feels like, you know what, today, you know, I want to be the diva. I want to be the one that doesn't want to talk to anybody. So we take turns.
Exactly.
Dope.
But basically, I mean, the way this got started in 2018, Gilbert comes in at the end of the season, like literally like with 4 or 5 weeks left in the season. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, finally somebody else, kind of like me, and I tried to make friends with him, and he was stiff arming me, like he like really didn't and I knew Gilbert was coming in. He was nervous, new beat, trying to get a hold of things, trying to meet people, trying to get to know people and everything. But finally, in 2019, the Charger going to Mexico City, and I have an uncle that lives down there, and I asked my uncle, I'm like, hey, we want to go to the pyramids down there. And how can I do it? And he's like, oh, here, I'll rent you guys a driver and a car, and I'll give you guys one of my car and you guys can go. And I'm like, oh, thank you. So I was telling all the beat writers, I'm like, hey, whoever wants to go, I'm like, you guys feel free to come with me. I'm going. Like I said, Eric Williams, he decided to go. Then Gil's like, hey, can I go? I was like, yeah, of course, bro. Don't worry about it. So we go. And after that, we became friends, and we started hanging out a lot more. And then right around the pandemic, when it was kind of dead, Gil and I kind of jumped on YouTube a couple of times and did some videos. And off of that, like Gilbert and I kind of thought, hey, why don't we do a podcast? Like there's not a lot of Latinos covering the NFL. And especially two on the same beat. I was like, we got it. Like we both said we got to capitalize on this. And that's when we started Compas on the Beat. And it's like Gilbert's boxing, UFC, I'm WWE. We're both NFL. So we've put everything, all of our strengths into one. And we've done different, like we have Compas on the Beat, but it's like we have 5 different shows to appease to whatever people like. So that's basically the way. I mean, Gil and I have really we started off with one show, then we started little by little expanding a little bit more, a Charger show, a Ram show. Then we're like, hey, let's do combat sports, dude. We don't have combat sports. Okay, let's do combat sports. And we started doing that. And honestly, we've really put our strengths together, and that's kind of how we've done this.
Fantastic. I mean, what's some of the coolest things both of you have kind of just uncovered about covering the NFL as long as you have? And I'd say, like, what's for a beat reporter, like, what's the most annoying thing you've kind of had to overcome in the past, let's say, 5 years as the NFL is kind of blown up with all the different ways they're kind of broadcasting games, and this place gets this media rights and all that stuff?
Age before beauty.
Yeah, thanks for outing me there. I am older here. But I have not covered the Chargers for 11 years, Fernando. Nice fact there by you. You've been doing it at a young age. You're like, you know what, I was going to offend you. I was going to say like Leo Messi, but you don't like him, so I won't go that way. There you go, Ronaldo.
No, hey, but you've been with two different franchises. You've seen the. I mean, we both experienced a move, I guess. So I mean, you've been around two different organizations and everything. So
yeah, I'll start there. There you go. That's a good little alley-oop there. For me, I had to cover the Raiders when they were moving from Oakland to Las Vegas, and I was working at the Las Vegas Review Journal there, and they were doing the transition from Oakland. I think it was like their first year, and I was flying a couple of times from Las Vegas to Oakland, and a lot of people saw me like as the outsider, trying to take over, trying to bring up the timeline real quickly and send the team from Oakland to Las Vegas. And as you guys know, that Raiders fan base is very passionate. And even from the media, I got some weird looks. Like, what is this guy from Vegas doing over here? Like, it's not your time yet, man. Let us kind of enjoy this team for a couple more years. So, my job was to get Vegas, excited to get a team, to build an audience and get readership going at the newspaper. So, I got some good practice there. And with the Chargers moving from San Diego to LA, that was kind of the other thing I had to do when I went to the OC Register, LA Daily News, and people always told me, people don't want to read about the Chargers in LA. They don't care about the Chargers. They care about the Raiders, even though they're either in Oakland or Vegas. So it's a weird dynamic in LA, as you guys know. So my job is to get that audience going. And Fernando was key in helping me out. Okay, so even to like the security guards, who to talk to, or even to look out for the trainers, or just which PR person will help you do what for your job. And one thing I learned in the Raiders beat is like, you can't really trust everybody. Everybody's kind of out there doing their own thing, and people, either find you annoying or they're going to backstab you. And I came into the Chargers be a little hesitant to talk to people. And, Fernando was very, welcoming. And it took me a while. I can mention in that story, Mexico City was okay. I could trust this dude. And, we built off a friendship from there. But it was tough to kind of get people to care about the Chargers, especially working for a dinosaur newspaper. I'll say that. But I had to get creative and get people to care on social media, or merge new readers on social media with kind of the old timers on the newspaper. So that was good for me. And, in terms of kind of what else is hard too. Like, it's interesting seeing how many different dynamics there are to a beat. Like are you a newspaper? Are you a magazine? Are you a website? Are you YouTube? There you go. What? And then you kind of just figure out, okay, so, where do you belong? Or like, hey, I want that access or whatever. So Fernando was very good about kind of like navigating, okay, this is what you got to do to kind of keep up with the Chargers.
And the thing is, too, like, let's be honest, like, Phillip Rivers was the old guy coming in. Like, he was San Diego, and he was supposed to show up at an event, doesn't show up in Los Angeles. Instead, he shows up at an event in San Diego, and he says, I hope that even though you guys hate the Chargers, that when you guys see me on the field, I'm your quarterback, and you guys love me and all this crap. So it was like, oh, crap, like that kind of hurt. And then you get Justin Herbert comes in. Well, hell, all of LA now. Well, not all of LA, but a lot of LA cares now because you have that young gun, that next ascending kid who's about to take over the NFL, wins Rookie of the Year. I think Justin Herbert has really helped what Gilbert and I have done. I think it really helped fans to really care and buy in. And now you see a lot, like when you go to games, you see the 10 jerseys all over. Like, I'm going to be honest, I barely see any 17 jerseys anymore. It's all about the new guy, and it's all about Herbert. And Herbert is, I think, light years ahead of where Rivers was at this point, and where I'm sure Dan Fouts was at that point. So Justin has really gained the love of the city, and he's a national newsbreaker. I mean, he throws 4 touchdowns in a game, and he's on the cover of ESPN.com. Oh, Justin Herbert throws 4 touchdowns. So, I mean, it helps when you have a generational talent, kind of like him leading the quarterback or leading the charge. So it really has, I think it definitely has helped Gilbert and I, when Gilbert was on the beat and everything, but it really has helped with people caring about the Chargers in Los Angeles and obviously, I guess, all around the country.
When you guys talk about like the Chargers building up in LA, and we talked about this too before, Gil, but just in general, like, do they really need to like have a big stake in LA, or is it just finding that 100,000 people that will show up for those 9 games every year?
Well, I mean, I think you want to have it just because you want to show, like, you want training camp to be packed. I mean, you see the Cowboys come out to California and their training camp is packed. I mean, in years before, the Chargers kind of have to close their joint practices and only let Charger fans in because they know that they could get overrun by opposing fans, which, I mean, it has happened, but I mean, the thing is, I think they're building something nice. I think they have a lot of players that are willing to go out in the community. They have players that are willing to do stuff like Joey Bosa. Every Christmas, he likes going out and doing the free bicycles to the kids at elementary school. Cool. Austin Eckler likes doing the whole building gyms for high schools that don't have good gyms for their football team. And they have players that are willing to go out in the community. So I think that's helped. But yeah, you don't want to have to struggle with, and I mean, you guys have seen it on TV at times where they do the panner. They love to do this on with the Charger games where they look at the whole stadium. And I mean, they look at the whole stadium and they're like, oh, look, okay, there's it's 55% Cowboy fans, 45% Charger fans. And I'm sure obviously the players don't want to see that. And I mean, I know some players say, oh, we don't care, but I mean, you want to have more fans, but I think the Chargers also have a lot of fans still in San Diego. I think fans are just quiet in San Diego, but I know sometimes on Sundays, I mean, my mom will go to Costco or whatever, and she'll be like, hey, I saw like 15 Charger jerseys at Costco or a shirt or a hat. So, I mean, there's still love for them down here. So I really do think that they obviously want to keep your fans down here, but you want to keep on growing in LA and on the freeway, when I drive from San Diego to LA, I see Charger fans on their way to the stadium. So, and quite a bit of fans. So, so they still have a lot of fans that travel up from San Diego up. So, but yeah, you want to grow the fan base, especially where you're at. And the Rams have already won a Super Bowl. They have an established fan base. Well, now the Rams are kind of dipping a little bit. So now's your opportunity to kind of get in there and try and do something.
Yeah, and that's a great point for that because the Rams are they're going through a phase. I don't even know what to call it because they still have Donald, Cup, and Stafford.
But for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but do it very discreetly with three good players and a really inexperienced roster all around. I was actually counting earlier today: 24 undrafted free agents and 14 rookies from the draft class. So, wow. All of us could actually make a roster spot for the Rams this camp, and it's a good opportunity for the Chargers to win over some fans and just to kind of cap on Fernando's point, like they are trying. It's just a thing that we should all kind of consider. And I know people don't like to do that because people are impatient and they love a good joke on social media. So, like Fernando said, they do like to kind of, you do that camera view and they see a bunch of 49er fans or Raider fans or whatever it is. But you do get a sense that it's growing every single year. And that's all you could ask for because when there was no LA franchise for 25 years or whatever it was, 30 years, everybody goes to different teams. And that's why when you grow up being, a Saints fan, and they have a joint practice with the Chargers in Costa Mesa, you come out with your Drew Brees jersey and you're going to run Costa Mesa. So it's a tough dynamic, but the more I've been around the team, and even though I'm not really there day to day, I still get a big sense of how big the following is. And Justin Herbert plays a big role in that. So if they didn't have Justin Herbert, they will definitely be in trouble right now.
Yeah. And Gil, as you move on to, more of a national perspective, like, how does that change how you kind of approach your work, one? And two, like, what excites you about the Chargers, like, from that national, bigger perspective than just LA?
Yeah, it's I'm in this phase right now where I always complain to Fernando. He likes it. He doesn't like it, but I like to complain to Fernando that this part of the the transition of the job, it's like I'm going through like a 3-month boot camp of like, okay, you got to really get to know every single team in the league. So they got me doing all these kind of like, I like to call it desk work or standards, where like I do a bunch of listicles and season previews and free agency previews and draft previews and schedule previews. And I'm sure my editors are tired of me complaining about it. But I know come the season, it'll be a little different, but it is good to kind of do all these stories because like I keep telling people, I can name like the 7 players on the wide receiver depth chart of the Giants, or the 4 defensive linemen that are new on the Saints roster, or whatever it is, the new secondary for the Lions. That one's kind of an easy one, but you can test me and I think I'll do well in the national landscape. But in terms of the Chargers there, by the way, Pro Football Focus really helps because there's times where I'm like, how can I judge a freaking guard? Oh, go look at the graded PFF and that'll be fine for me there. Or talk to Fernando's brother, the specialist there for offensive line, Dan and Dago. Shout out to Dan and Dago, by the way.
There you go.
And then, in terms of the Chargers, one thing that's weird, like, I don't like to get caught up on the hype for the Chargers because they usually tend to have a lot of hype and they usually disappoint you. But for some reason, they don't have hype this year. And I think because they did all their salary cap damage a year ago and all their good players were hurt a year ago. So they kind of like decided, you know what? Let's run it back with the same group, which is a very talented group. But they're not having the offseason hype, and they added Kellen Moore, the OC, which is kind of a big upgrade as well. Eric Kendricks a little bit on the decline, but he's still going to be a very helpful player in terms of being a veteran leader and also knowing what to do when it comes to winning ball games. So I think being kind of an underrated team might be better for the Chargers. Like Fernando said, my first year on the beat was 2018, and they won a lot of games that year because they were underrated. And people like to say that I was a curse because the following few years for the Chargers, they lost a lot. But that first year, they won a lot. People forgot that. But I think being kind of under the radar team might help them in the long run. But it's just tough because you're also in the same division with the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're not going anywhere. So when you're coming out of the wild card, or if you don't win a division, it's a tough road to get further. So, but also when you make the playoffs, you can't lose 27-0 leads and expect to be in the headline. So. And in terms of stuff like that, that was hurtful, but I think being on the radar should help out this year.
And to that point, you look at that was a horrible, one of the all-time worst choke jobs ever. Like NFL Network just replayed that nonstop, like every 6 hours they played it. But then you look at the Chargers and their social media game, which arguably is like Hall of Fame worthy right now. When the schedules dropped, like obviously as a journalist, certain stuff like in the past, like this isn't really newsworthy, but just with how they've changed how schedule reveals work and just how they've made the little things big with their social media, like how has it been kind of dealing with the social media staff with the Chargers, and just how you judge other teams when you're dealing with coverage?
Where I plead the fifth.
I was gonna let you have that one.
Let me get Dan and Dago in here so he can answer that one.
No, I don't know. It's tough because when you cover this team, I don't cover them anymore on the daily. So me and Fernando, this is why Fernando's not gonna answer the question because you kind of get annoyed with seeing all the social media stuff because you have them notifications and you're just waiting for actual news to occur. But you're checking your phone, you're pausing whatever you're doing. You could be in an important, family, whatever event.
Driving.
Yeah. And then you check, okay, what's going on here? And it's just like a video of Justin Herbert eating wings, apparently. So who cares, But they
Buffalo slander.
Yeah, there you go. So at that point, for us, we don't care. We just kind of get annoyed. But I do give them credit for the schedule review. I was kind of wondering what they'll do with the schedule review because they set the bar so high a year ago with the anime, which was great because people love anime and they listen to what their players like. And Joey Bosa is a big fan of anime. I remember I tried asking Joey Bosa about it a couple of years ago, and he said we don't have the time in the day to talk about it in a press conference. Yeah. And I said I tried my best here, but he looked very excited to talk about it. And maybe that I'm gonna take credit. Maybe I gave him the idea to do an anime schedule because of my question to Joey Bosa. But it was good for them to do it again. They say, let's run it back. Let's keep taking these subtle jabs at people, and people will love it. And I keep telling Fernando, it's kind of smart to build an audience too, or a fan base, because a lot of people who just like anime they see the video on social media, like, okay, what's going on here? Like, I love all what like. There's a lot of things that I miss because I don't watch anime, but they catch it and they say, you know what, I'm gonna just be a Chargers fan. I don't care about football, but I'll wear the cap because I like their anime videos. So in terms of that, it does really help. And then me and Fernando were talking about like the when the Twitter video came out, it had like what a billion or not billion.
It was a million in like an hour.
Yeah, it was quick. I'm like, okay, that is gonna just help out regardless. So I think. Maybe you ask yourself in year 3, do you keep doing it? Do you keep just kind of doing the same thing? Make it a tradition. So we'll see what they do next year.
And not just that, they kind of became trendsetters because look at Tennessee. Tennessee stepped up their game, and they did. Other teams have stepped up there. Like the Chicago Bears got Seth Rollins and some other guys that do theirs. So a lot of teams, I think the Cleveland Browns got the Miz. Like everybody else is trying to step up their game to release their schedule. So I'm sure now they've kind of made it into a show, I guess, in a sense. So, I mean, I guess the Chargers kind of started that. But yeah, it's like Gilbert said, like there's times where on Saturdays we're waiting for the, like, let's just say Mike Williams is going to play or not. And it's like, oh, you get an alert right around 12:45 and you're like, okay, here it comes of the roster change that the Chargers made. And it's like, oh, hey, look at Keenan Allen dancing. Like, dude, nobody cares. Like, why can't you just give us what we need? But at the same time, like Gilbert said, they have been trendsetters. They've done some good stuff. But yeah, sometimes it kind of is annoying when you obviously like we said, it's a Saturday. You're trying to spend time with your loved ones. You just need to either retweet it or press send on the article so it can post. And you have the rest of the day to go. So I completely agree with Gilbert on that one.
All right, Fernando, like you already talked a little bit kind of about like how your perspective in San Diego's like influence, your coverage and how you see the team. So I'm just curious, like for you, like we could talk about the upside of the Chargers all day long, and we usually do every offseason. But like for you, like what's the worst case scenario for the Chargers in this upcoming season? Like,
the defense can't stop the run again. Quentin Johnson isn't what they thought he was going to be. Injuries and the offensive line injury. You know what? It's just injuries. Because in a sense, like injuries on the offensive line could hurt Justin Herbert again. Not hurt Justin Herbert. Like it could hurt his production again because of the because
it could hurt him though too.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to go that route. But I think the injuries is really what it's always been, and it's been like that since they were in San Diego. I mean, I remember the Chargers used to always have a cart back when we were in San Diego, and I'd be standing there, and it's like every other practice. There was one summer, I can't remember if it was 14 or 15. Every other practice, they were putting a guy on the cart and carting him off with an injury, and you're like, dude, what is going on? So it's rough, but the worst case scenario is injuries. If the injury bug comes and hits them, but the thing is, it's like Gilbert said, this offseason's been weird. There's no hype towards them. The hype really has been with the Denver Broncos in this division. I think everybody thinks that Sean Payton's going to come in like a magician and change everything, and Russ is going to be back to being Russ, but I think for him to be Russ, he would need to divorce Sierra because he ain't gonna be Russ anymore. He's gonna be this corny dude who's on the plane ride while his teammates are sleeping. He's gonna be doing high knees and jumping jacks, and that's what Team Russ does. That's what Team 3 does. While everybody else is sleeping, they work. But I just don't see. The Broncos to me are still kind of up in the air. But for the Chargers, injuries, man. If they can stay healthy and they don't have any of that hype going into the season, I feel like they might be able to sneak up on teams, especially with the way their season starts. I mean, they could easily, and this is the funniest part, they could easily go 7-0 in the first 7 games of the season. But then, like Gilbert and I have seen, they can also go 2-5, or usually under Brandon Staley, they've started off 4-1, 4-2. And then it's that middle part where they just have a drop off. And then at the end, like Fernando in school, you're hurrying up, you're turning in all your assignments, and you're trying to pass these classes so you can move on to the the next thing. So I know a little bit. I know a little bit of what they do. So when I have some experience in that area, but that's injuries is key. If they can limit those, then they should be all right.
All right, and then my last question for you guys. This is probably the most important question and most controversial, but San Diego or LA tacos?
You know what? I'm gonna go first because I have to make a joke for Fernando. It's not an interview with Fernando unless he's taking a shot at Ronda Rousey or Russell Wilson. So those are two people he likes to kind of like.
I can't stand Ronda Rousey.
Yeah,
Did we just become friends?
I respect Ronda Rousey, the UFC legend. I cannot stand Ronda Rousey, the WWE wrestler, or supposedly
the Piper.
She can't even speak on the mic, bro. Give me a mic. I'll piss off the crowd. I'll make the crowd love me. I'll do whatever I need to. She goes out there and she's, look at these titles, these nuts. Like, what is that? Like, what grade are you in? Like, what are you doing?
That is an actual quote from Ronda Rousey because Fernando told me and I couldn't believe it.
Her literal eye shot, her eye makeup really pisses me off. It's like, this isn't Black Swan. Like, what are you doing?
Everything she does pisses me off. I'm like, dude, save the money. Go try and re-sign Naomi or go sign some other talent. Like, you don't need Ronda Rousey. She needs you.
I honestly hope they just like bring in Holly Holmes on a one-off and just have somebody on the mic go like,
she's the only one that can get her out of
like, do you need some straightening? Like, we can call Loyola too. Amanda the Lion.
You know who Cyborg was trying to get signed by WWE. She was trying hard. She's like, if I can't fight Ronda in the octagon, I'll fight her in WWE. And WWE never came through with it. I'm pissed. I really wanted to see
UFC killed her buzz off. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Same like when Brock failed that drug test, and they're just like, oh, we just totally screwed Mark Hunt over, and then he won his lawsuit, and they just never talked about it. It's like
that's Gilbert's area.
At UFC 200, I was at that event actually. But going back to the controversy or for the question there, I'm gonna add more controversy to that question. It's definitely LA tacos much better than San Diego tacos, and you know why? Because those people in San Diego, they like to add guacamole all over your tacos and just destroy the entire taco. So I hate it. You're overdoing it.
Take it on the side.
The juice and the seasoning and the carne asada with the great onions and the cilantro, but you got to ruin it with all that nasty green stuff. That's big.
Which city is closer to where the tacos were created? San Diego, right? We're right next to Tijuana. Who has the best tacos? Come on. We're right across the border. Right now I could go down to TJ, get me some good tacos, come back. Nice. No, not right now to TJ. I wouldn't go down there right now, but it's hot during the day. Hey, it's got to be San Diego 619. We got the weather. We got everything. I'm not gonna say the other word I say on.
It's the same weather, Fernando. It's the same weather.
It's not the same. It's not the same weather. It's different weather. I can attest to that. It's different weather. I go up to Costa Mesa. It's blazing hot. I come down here. It's nice, cool, relaxing. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I got to go with the tacos in San Diego. You know what? I'll say San Diego. Yeah, the burritos are down here better too.
Oh God.
Oh, see, hold on. See that you can get a plethora of burritos out here. You can get like the fish burritos out here. The burritos out here are ridiculous. There's variety.
You're Fernando.
Good.
I might concede tacos. I'll concede tacos, but burritos, no. Because I mean,
we're not.
That's why he's freezing. That's why he's freezing because he knows he's speaking blasphemy up in here. It all started down here. Burritos are better over here. They're more delicious.
You're so bored down there, and you're one horse town. You're adding fries to your burritos, so I don't know what you're doing.
Hey, California burritos are delicious.
That's some.
They're so
that's
good
a colonizer
that LA needed
burrito.
to copy them, and now you got Cali tacos up in Anaheim. You got some other places that love them. Yeah. So
fries in a burrito was blasphemous. I'm sorry.
Fries in a burrito? Have you ever tried it?
My nephew, who's two, tried it.
No,
But,
no,
like,
no, not your nephew. I'm
I
talking
can't-
about you.
I can't do it.
Don't knock
It's
until you
in
try it.
principle, I can't do it. I'm just like,
No, you can do it.
It's
Like,
fun.
Try it.
you know what they call
But
it?
you have-
There's a restaurant by me out here. They call it the schoolyard burrito.
I don't know what that is.
It's literally just
but-
it's like a California burrito. It's just like fries and a burrito.
By the way, I was telling I told Gilbert one time that some loser on TikTok came down to San Diego and was like, "Oh, I tried the California burrito. It's terrible." I'm like, "Where?" Like, and I like saw where he went in La Jolla. Who the hell gets a California burrito in La Jolla? I'm like, I put, if there's no bars on the windows, homie, that ain't a California burrito. And I got like 1,000 likes on it just because I put that. But it's legit. It's true. I was like, what? I was like, that's where you need, like, you have to fear for your life to go get a California burrito. It's all good though, but nah, but I honestly, I like the food here. I like the food there. I like the different areas. Like, where's that central place, Gilbert, where they have all those different stands with tacos and stuff? I can't remember what.
Grand Central Market.
That place is delicious. That place has some good stuff. You get a little bit of everything.
Fried chicken,
Yeah.
everything.
I'm all about that.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it so much. You guys just want to let people know what you're working on and where they can find you before you sign off.
Yeah, I'll go first. You can find me obviously Sports Illustrated, MMQB. I'm the guy doing a bunch of lists. If you see like a controversial, top 10 quarterback list or running back list, and people are crapping on me on Instagram, come out and defend your boy in the comments, because I am definitely taking a beating in the comments there for that. And go ahead.
Did Washington fans get on you for saying that you would choose Justin Herbert over Chase Young if the redraft happened?
No, because at this point, we know the answer. Chase
Remember when we went to Washington to open the season in 2021, and fans were like, "You guys are idiots. We would not choose Justin Herbert over Chase Young after his rookie year." And now all of a sudden, they're like, "Yeah, we would definitely have taken Justin Herbert over Chase Young."
Yeah, I threw that nugget into my story, my 2020 redraft story. So they got me busy, man. I redrafted the 2022 draft and the 2020 draft. It took me forever, but check that out if you want to and get a good laugh, because people are actually giving me crap. Here's my 2 controversial ones of the week. I had Tony Pollard as a number 4 running back in the league. People hate it. And then I had Brock Purdy going at number 6 in the draft last year for the redraft. So people don't like Brock Purdy. I don't know why, but okay.
Sir.
Hey. We've only seen him in 6 games. What are you talking about?
That's almost as bad as me saying the Chargers are going to sign Dalvin Cook right now.
In the draft. Kenny Pickett is the only good quarterback in that
San
draft.
Francisco needs Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. to be their quarterback. Obviously, I'm Left Ramirez on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I will be at the Mexico-Cameroon game in San Diego this weekend, so I'll be covering that. So make sure you guys check that out. Compas on the Beat, obviously. That's our YouTube channel. Make sure you guys check it out. Like I said, we got Combat Compas. We got Compas on the Beat. We even have a soccer show. We have a Charger show, a Ram show. We got it all, short, skinny, and tall. Make sure you come and check it out, because we got some fun stuff cooking, and we got some fun stuff that we do on our shows. Like we can go random. We can go from talking about Fast Sex to talking about I don't know, Harry Potter, or like Gilbert having to he's going to a wedding, he's picking out a suit and all that. So we talk about fittings and suits and all this stuff. So you just, all the random, or like we'll just get into, what do you hate at weddings? Oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate that. Like you just start talking about all that stuff. So we're honestly random. Like we have a script, but usually once we get halfway through, the script is completely gone. It's just us kind of shooting the breeze and having fun, especially with all the different stuff that we got going on. So please check that out. Give it a chance, and I'm sure there's something for everybody. So, but we appreciate you guys for having us on.
Man, thanks for having us.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. Have a good night. We appreciate it.
Thank you, fellas.
Peace. All right. That was some great shit. Good years. Welcome to Georgia.
Hey, I actually had one last question. I was going to be like, hey, yo, Wizards or Jedis? But,
Yeah,
we all know
it's
it's Wizards.
Mezcal or tequila.
We all know it's Wizards. because Jedi's just tap into like what wizards automatically manipulate. But whatever.
I don't know why people say that. Jedis, aren't they like kind of wizards?
Of violence.
And they can fight?
Yeah, but like if I can fucking hit you with a paralyzing spell, like then you can't use the force. Cause like I'm actually learning the good and bad ways to use magic. And if
Who
you're
got
already a Sith,
genocided faster, wizards or Jedis? That's what
wizards
we need to
got
do
protection
research.
spells. If those kids knew how to fucking do spells, like the Order 66 would have never happened. They just didn't like they got fucking bum rushed by Anakin. Like if they all fucking knew how to do spells or curse Anakin, it'd be over. And I think Nikki sorry, oops, dropped out somehow. That hurt. Shit. Oh. But
All right, man. Well, let's jump into it. I'm driving, so you have to drive.
yeah, plus like this shit, your internet flashed. Internet is unstable. And then I just like got really quiet. I was like, oh God, no.
Well, at least we got through the interview. So
It's true. Plus
after
it was,
that,
it's recorded. But yeah, so a lot of things happened surprisingly throughout the sportsverse. Greg Newsome, former first round pick out of Northwestern, cornerback. Greg Newsome II and defensive tackle Perion Winfrey, they were robbed of their jewelry by 6 masked men at gunpoint outside Cleveland nightclub, man. NFL players get targeted all the time.
that many times.
And it's not even like I have friends who work security, and it's like I'm not gonna say. Let's just say it was about a famous Niners player, and he wanted to do some dumb shit, and security's like, "We're not doing that. We're not doing that." And if he wants to do that, you got to pay us more. And if you piss off security, that's the quickest way to get robbed is when you piss off security, and they just like, "Well, fine, fuck it. You can go out here, get stripped of all his jewelry, and walk home naked since you want to play games." People who aren't from LA with money and jewelry really don't understand. Like that's the worst thing you could do. Like slide in, like you're not trying to be seen, and too many people do that. That's why I never understood the point of nightclubs. I'm like, this is an easy way for me to get lined up. I wouldn't personally do it, but
You should take your video off. So the connection is better.
say what now?
Take your video off so the connection will be better.
All right, bet.
Because you're kind of cutting off. Yeah, it's
Cool.
much better.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Nikki, but yeah.
You might be in the waiting room.
Oh, her laptop died. She's just charging it. All right, but yeah. So other news: Josh Allen,
The big Madden cover story.
JUCO product.
Why are
Fireball.
people really upset that Josh Allen is on the cover? Like, that's weird to me. Like,
It makes sense because with the Buffalo, the fan base, you know, the Darwin Hamlin storyline, like it's
they
Buffalo
were
has never
good.
been more
He was an
emotionally.
MVP candidate.
Yeah, they haven't been more emotionally tied in and relevant to Buffalo probably since when they were going to the Super Bowl those 4 straight times. Like this is probably the most up it's ever been for Buffalo. Benny the Butcher, Griselda. I mean, they no longer a group anymore, but like everybody's up and happy and doing their thing. Like Buffalo's peak Buffalo right now. So yeah, it makes sense. You know,
Is it because people feel like Joe Burrow should have been on it? Like, who do people think should have been on it? Like, I don't get it.
they just don't want it to be Buffalo. I'm just glad it's not Tom Brady.
I guess that makes sense.
If you're like, usually it would go to the NFL MVP, but it's like you can't keep giving it to Mahomes.
Definitely.
So
I
Buffalo
mean, I
makes
think,
sense.
yeah, the other person I would have considered would have either been Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert. Who else would you put in that conversation?
Christian McCaffrey.
He didn't have a down year, but
He had the best year of his career, for being honest.
I don't think you could put him on there.
You put the Niners on there with the
Have to change
boombox.
the sheets.
I think you put the Niners on there with the,
teams.
I think you put the Niners on there with the boombox and then walking onto the field with Trent Williams. How many offensive linemen have been on the cover of Madden? Ever, right?
Yeah.
You know how dope that would have been to have Debo Samuels and Trent Williams and whoever else holding the boombox, and that's Madden. That'd be brilliant. That'd be
That would be
genius.
Better than Aaron Rodgers' first time in a Jets jersey on the Madden cover.
No, thank you. We don't need more Aaron Rodgers. Just I'm
The other thing that dropped this week, the new NCAA game about to drop, they said the College Football Players Association is planning to boycott.
That's college football news, sir. That is college football news, sir. That is my segment. You are encroaching.
I mean, but it's actually relevant.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's a college football segment. Plus, you totally forget. Because I mean, okay, there's NIL stuff to get into about that, but
well, we could talk about the gambling probe, but you can't really talk about the gambling probe. So
I definitely can't talk about it. Like, literally cannot talk about it because he hasn't been punished yet. But also, yeah, can't talk about it. But I was gonna talk about Dalvin Cook getting cut by the Vikings. It was so disrespectful. I think the Chargers could be
officially.
Yes, that's why I was trying to get to it. Cause yeah,
I didn't see that.
You didn't look at the rundown. We know it's okay. Nikki just slaved away over the rundown for you not to look at it. Typical. But nah, yeah, the Vikings released him. And honestly, I could see the Chargers as a fit, if not Miami. I think the Chargers got to just say fucking and go for broke. Say fuck that salary cap.
But they already have Eckler, so I don't think they'll do that.
I mean, he's not like, yeah, he scores a lot of touchdowns, but he gets hurt, and none of those other running backs behind him can really do it. If you had Dalvin Cook on first and second down, and then Eckler could go play receiver or whatever, that keeps the box honest. But I think Cook really wants to be a starter. He still has enough juice left to where he can still be like a solid starting running back for the next 3 years. More
as
like,
long as he doesn't go to Kansas City.
That's just disgusting. Let's say Pacheco.
Well, yeah, I know he wants to go to Florida. I know he wants to go to the
Miami.
Dolphins.
He's the king of
But
Florida,
they
bro.
have so many running backs.
No, they got running backs who get hurt all the time and are like spell
Yeah, but
running
they got
backs.
that Nicky's boy Arcane.
He's not a 3-down back.
Faster acceleration.
It's fine to say arcane. Arcane.
Whatever.
He ran a 4.32,
No,
but
not
he's not an every down back yet. He's only a rookie. They're gonna use him sparingly. Cook is like, I'm the starting
Yeah,
guy.
but you already got Jeff Wilson, who had 500 yards in 7 games.
And yeah, he only played
And
like
you
7
got
games because he kept getting hurt.
Then you got a hodgepodge of guys behind him that haven't done much recently, but have done stuff in the league.
You're proving my point for me. They all get hurt. You know what you get from Cook. If you look at his production in the last 5 years, it's been elite.
But he's also gotten hurt.
But he's played the last 5 years. Man missed a game or two here and there.
Last year?
And he still played and had over 1,000 yards rushing. I think he had like over 10 total touchdowns too. He's averaged like 10 or 12 touchdowns like the last 5 years.
No, he had 8 touchdowns last year, 6
rushing and 2 receiving. Yeah, but bottom line is he's been productive every year, even when the Vikings offense was bad. He's always been productive, and that O-line isn't all that great either. So I'm saying Miami's going to find the money. Damn it. They'll find the money because he wants to be.
Last year was the first year he played his whole season, the full season.
And had 1,000 yards and 4.5 yards to carry. They were force feeding the ball to their receivers. So, I mean, you can't really blame him. Yeah, he'd be a perfect fit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying, your point of all the Miami running backs getting hurt.
He's better than all of them,
last year
though.
was the only year he didn't get hurt.
And he's had 1,000. He's had what, 4 or 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Like you can't ignore that production. Like he's automatically the best running back on the roster in Miami today. He honestly has more in the tank left than Zeke does. Way more.
I don't know about that, sir.
Bro, you gotta let it go. I know you're gonna cry when Zeke retires.
You could actually look at their stats, sir. Look at their stats, sir.
Zeke's speed is gone, bro.
Bro, don't get him started on Zeke, bro. Don't do it.
Zeke had 900 yards down.
I know his numbers, but the speed ain't.
Bad call.
The speed ain't there no more.
Over 10 touchdowns.
Speed ain't there no more, bro.
And he still had over 10 touchdowns last year.
Bro, he's a little bit. He's 2 years removed from Jerome Bettis.
2 seasons. He's only had 2 seasons where he hasn't had 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he ran the tread.
He has 3 where he didn't have 1,000 yards.
He ran the tread off the tires very quickly. If Zeke was the starting running back, don't you think he'd already be picked up by now?
Cook has missed more games in his career than Zeke has, and Zeke has played.
Notice how he didn't answer the question, everybody. He did not answer my question, which I know he heard.
I can't hear you. I didn't hear what you said.
I said, and I'll say it again. I even texted to you. If Zeke was such a great starting running back, why has no one signed him yet?
Because of money?
The salary cap doesn't really exist.
He's had an interest.
Nah, if they want you, they'll sign you.
Yes, it does.
It exists it exists when they don't want to pay you what you're worth.
And he's had interest from teams. He's had at least 6, 7 teams interested.
Bro, if he signs with the Seahawks, you owe me an apology. If he signs with the Seahawks, you owe me an apology.
Sign with the Seahawks. According to you, Kenneth Murray is a bell cow running back.
They got Zach Charbonnet, too.
And a lead guy.
Yeah, he's a lead guy. When you rush for 1,200 yards and you run a 4.3, you kind of are a lead guy until proven otherwise. Take him in fantasy. I bet you he has more yardage than Josh Jacobs this year. Put your money where your mouth is. You want to make that bet?
I don't even know.
Kenneth Walker.
I don't even know if Josh Jacobs is going to play. 1.
Oh,
2, I'm not
scary.
Even a Josh Jacobs fan like that. And 3, there's not even any real crossover to compare those two, other than I'm a Raiders fan and you're just trying to come for a guy that you think I care about that I really don't care about.
There's no way Kenneth Walker, barring a torn ACL.
You're just trying to gaslight me into an irrelevant.
You got to stop saying gaslight, bro. You need a new word. You can't keep using gaslight. I'm just saying. Josh Jacobs isn't having
word in 2022, sir.
Josh Jacobs. Okay, but you don't have to keep using it because I'm just telling you, Josh Jacobs is going to go the way of Ezekiel Elliott.
Stop gaslighting me, and I won't use
I'm not gaslighting you. I'm telling you straight up, like, yo, all your favorite players are going to have down years, and you just need to accept that. It's okay.
Josh Jacobs is not even one of my favorite players. I've never been a Josh Jacobs fan ever, bro.
Hey, yo, even Nikki knows you lying. Even she knows you lying,
Have
fan.
I ever been to the table for Josh Jacobs?
Fantasy football. When he first got drafted, when I told you it was a bad idea to draft him because Alabama running backs last like 2 years.
Bro, you're fucking lying out of your ass right now, Kenny. I was never excited about Josh Jacobs, even when he was drafted.
Out of all 3 of those first round picks, you were happiest.
Just lying on me now. You're literally just lying on me now.
No, you were happy about Josh Jacobs.
No, I wasn't, bro.
You were.
What's wrong?
I've literally never been happy about Josh Jacobs.
What? Oh, that's crazy.
It's not hating. It's just like I told him, like, hey, certain guys aren't.
No, I'm talking about Pete.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
are you hating this man so hard? That's
I've
cold.
never been a fan of Josh Jacobs. I just haven't. He doesn't
What
have
you saying?
anything
It's
that special.
cold as a Spider-Man throwing a spider in the snow.
This man is a Miguel O'Hara right now.
Do anything special. He just does everything solid. Like, he's solid. Don't get me wrong. Like,
But
he's
that's
cool.
your running
It's
back.
cool that it's cool that he's a Filipino. Like, that's dope. But, like, other than that,
Damn, you pulled the
he can
Filipino
stay
card.
He can go.
Bro, this is not how you were
Bro,
talking
that's
about him a
crazy.
year ago.
I'm not attached to Jacobs like I was attached to fucking McFadden or Tyrone Wheatley or Zach Crockett. Like, I'm not attached to Josh Jacobs at all.
Zach Crockett is the worst one out of all 5 of those people you named. Crazy.
And I
That's
still love-
crazy.
I still love.
He went to Florida State, by the way.
But how are you more
I know.
attached to Zeke than Josh Jacobs?
Know how I became the #1 president of Zeke's fan club. It just
Oh,
kinda
now you're full of
organically
shit. Now you're full of
It just
shit, bro.
organically happened.
Oh,
I
God.
honestly didn't even like Zeke when he first came into the league and had all that controversy, titties, and shit. Like, I wasn't a Zeke fan.
I'm so
But
fucking
people
glad
just
this
fucking
podcast is
walked
recorded.
all over him and acted like he didn't just turn the Cowboys into a perennial playoff contender and pretty much shitted on Alabama.
You can't see my face right now, but I'm shaking my head angrily. This is the same thing. He just literally just. I'm glad Oh my God, he just. Oh, I'm telling everyone in the group chat. You really said that shit. I didn't start out a Zeke fan, bro. I know you watched Ohio State play in the football playoffs, and you watched that
I
whole.
did, but I wasn't a Zeke stan.
And
like
then
I
you
am
started
now.
pounding the table for Zeke
Yes. Why did I start pounding the table for
as a
Zeke,
rookie.
Kitty? No, you're fucking lying out of your ass again.
Oh my God,
happened
it's
was-
recorded,
What
fam.
had happened was there was a time
What happened?
period on our social media channels where we would do polls and highlights like this player versus that player. And we did one with Zeke, and everyone it was Zeke and Saquon. And everyone just took fucking Saquon, even though he didn't fucking play because he was coming off an ACL injury.
You hated Saquon
so
irrationally.
That's really when I started becoming like a Zeke stan and in the table for Zeke. And then over the course of those 2 or 3 years, the inception of Tony Pollard just made fucking Zeke the steamroll, fucking scapegoat for Mike McCarthy's shitty play calling and the Dallas Cowboys doing what the Dallas Cowboys always do. Like,
Bro, you were shitting on Christian McCaffrey and Nick Chubb to pound the table for Zeke. Like, you were doing that. Like, verbally. Like, you were like, these guys are overrated. Christian McCaffrey's overrated. Nick Chubb is overrated. Zeke is still the best running back in the league. At one point, you said he was better than Adrian Peterson, like, which was fucking wild. So
I didn't say that.
you did. Because you said AP
never
is
said
kind of
that.
overrated. You said AP is kind of.
I never
And
said
then you
that.
brought up he
Okay.
beat his kid, and I was like, okay, but that has nothing to do with him as a player. And then he set the rookie rushing year record
And
as a
don't forget
rookie.
He had a kid die too. Don't forget that too.
Yeah, but that's because the girlfriend, like the boyfriend, beat him to death. That was an Asian dude who did it. So that's a whole other story.
Just
Um,
saying,
he wasn't even there when it happened. Like they lived in a different house.
no, I'm just saying. The smoke,
Like you just keep shitting on AP, but it's like shitting on AP doesn't make
Why do
people
you care about AP's personal life? Because you clearly don't care about Zeke's.
because Zeke was doing wild shit out here.
but Zeke hasn't done shit in like 5 years. He's been the model since.
I mean-
In Texas,
Okay,
how much do
bro.
the Cowboys get away with that we don't know about?
And that's fair. I'll give you that.
See? And all I'm saying is,
But yeah, at least from a national perspective,
Yeah, my
Zeke hasn't made any headlines. Zeke hasn't shot no kids or had no
well, you can't say
sisters,
that.
no
You
kids,
cannot say that. Charges
whatever.
that you legally can't say that. You'll get sued. I won't get sued. You'll get sued. You can't actually say that. It's like there's a whole
No,
go back.
no.
There was a reason why he shot, and there was a reason why there were no charges brought, and the people who did it almost got like serious charges because they fucking ran down on somebody and started shooting and Yeah, it's a whole situation. That Joe Mixon thing is a whole other situation.
Yeah, like situation last week. Like, he totally botched the whole story.
Oh no, that was different. By the way, he beat the case. So
Yeah. Same source of information though.
yeah, more
Same
information
source of
came out.
information, though.
More
Yeah.
information came out, but you're not gonna
No,
like
I
the
don't know, man.
source.
I don't think Joe gets a pass.
You're not gonna like the source of
I don't
information.
think
Like
he gets a pass.
it came out that one, like he never actually beat her. The neighbor, the fucking prosecutor's witness, was like, I had to go get my gun because they were beating his brother's ass. I thought it was gonna spill over into my yard. Like, apparently he had his hands folded the whole time. He didn't hit her; she hit him.
Are you
And
talking about suspension or like the more recent?
no, the
one?
Rudolph case. Like more information came
Oh,
out.
I
Like
thought
the
you were talking about Joe
prosecutor interviewed people.
Like, bro,
Like that whole situation is crazy. But yeah. So to wrap up the whole Cook thing, yeah, I think he has more tread on the tires left than Zeke does. So I think Miami's perfect.
I mean, he should. He's younger and hasn't been as productive, so yeah, he definitely
He's-
should.
I mean,
more
he
tread
also
on his
didn't
tires.
play on a Hall of Fame offensive line either. He didn't have a Hall of Fame.
Minnesota
Nah,
has
Tyrone
had
Smith.
offensive line
Bro,
players.
name two offensive linemen for the Vikings. Please name two.
They just paid someone like 2
Name-
years ago. shit
Name
ton of
two.
money.
That's 2 years ago. Name
They
two right
drafted
now.
people.
Name two starters right now.
I don't know. I don't watch Vikings football.
Ezra Cleveland, who was a tackle in Boise State and now plays guard, is actually one of their best offensive linemen. Brian, he went to Pittsburgh. I forget his last name, but Brian, something.
O'Neal.
Yeah, Brian O'Neal, right tackle, one of the best right tackles in the league.
Garrett Bradbury's nice.
No, he's actually kind of seen as a bust. He went like 20. He has not lived up to the hype, especially pass blocking wise. Run blocking, there, all right. But yeah, bottom line is, if Dalvin Cook was running behind Tyrone Smith in his prime, Zach Martin, fucking Travis Frederick before he retired, Lyle Collins, and I forget who the other guy was at guard, but like they had like.
Bro, those guys haven't played for the Cowboys in like 3 years.
But when they were at their peak as an offensive line, when they were at their peak as an offensive line, which was Zeke's rookie year,
the past 3 years. Nick Martin was hurt like the 2 years before this year. Lyle
Zach Martin
was cut last year.
I'm talking about when they first put the line
Frederick
together.
and was hurt 2 years before that. Those guys have been hurt, bro.
I'm talking about Zeke's best years were obviously as a rookie between year 1 and year 4, when Tyrod Smith and all those guys were still healthy. So if you put rookie Dalvin Cook behind that offensive line, he gets about the same production.
Yards after that as well, bro.
You can't just discount the fact that Zeke had a great offensive line. You can. Yeah, you can. See, look, I'm gonna show you. Guess what? Guess what?
He's been great even after that.
Randy
Even
Moss
after
on the
those
Raiders
have been
barely
hurt.
had 1,000 yards, right? What did Randy Moss do when he got
He's been
Tom
more
Brady?
consistent. He's been more consistent than all those offensive linemen you just made because he's
Okay.
been playing, bro. He hasn't
That's
been
not my
hurt.
argument. That's not my argument. My argument is he's not the only running back who would have been productive in Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
Okay.
Dalvin Cook has way less red flags off the field. Like he was practically a complete prospect. Like, and once he
Even
ran that
though
fourth,
he's had 2 knee surgeries. Got it.
no, when he came out of college, you're
He
missing the
had
point.
didn't he have an ACL in college?
It was like a PCL. It was some minor, but he
Yeah.
was fine. He literally is the all-time leading rusher in Florida State history by a wide margin.
Isn't that why he fell in the draft because of his knee?
No, he fell in the draft because they weren't trying to take running backs that high. You forget, everybody was shocked when Christian McCaffrey went like 8th overall or 9th overall to the
I
Panthers.
think he also had a knee. Like, he also had knee issues.
Yeah, he
there,
had
bro.
knee issues early in his career, but I'm saying he had overcame that and became the all-time leading rusher in school history. But when him and Christian McCaffrey got drafted, nobody expected Christian McCaffrey to go that high. That was like the last draft a running back went super fucking high, if you really go back and think about it.
Not really, because Saquon went like 2 years later.
But that's a one-off. There hasn't. Who else went that high after Saquon?
Bijan?
That was this year. Again, like that's a one. That's if you take an exception of this year, that doesn't happen every year anymore. And those cats, yo, Nikki, I'm sorry, were you playing with your cat? It's the funniest shit ever.
Okay.
It's the funniest shit ever. I'm sorry. No, but
let's move on. We've been on this topic far too
I was gonna say, if y'all keep talking about Zeke, this show ain't never gonna end.
that is true.
Exactly.
He just won't let it go. Also, RIP to Norma Hunt. She passed away at the age of 85. They had a moment of silence at the White House. Like the matriarch of the Hunt family, essentially. Also, now to what Pete was kind of hinting at earlier, the College Football Players Association is boycotting EA Sports due to the fact that they're pretty much offering players like a pot of $500 for like an NIL payout, which ain't shit if you think about how much money the game is going to make. That's spitting in their face. Now, transfer quarterback, Mississippi State. Let me pull up his name. He was a quarterback at Vanderbilt, and he transferred, and he is fast as shit. He said, I'll take $20 as long as they get my speed rating right. So, I mean,
That's fair.
But $20? That ain't shit, bro. Now you're just going back to the old model of being hoed out by another organization.
I really don't give a fuck, honestly. We can
Bro.
have random players, and it'll be fine.
Caleb,
That's what half of us are going to end up doing in dynasty mode anyway.
they giving Caleb Williams. They giving Caleb Williams $20. Imagine giving Caleb Williams $20.
Because Kenny, if I had told you in 14, here's $500 for doing absolutely nothing. I'm building a free food game, and I'm going to use you. You would have said, "Damn, this is a lot of drinking money. I'm happy." So
No, I'd be like, I need.
$500 is like.
I'd be like, give me like a
I mean,
5% residual fee.
It doesn't equate to what the NFL is making, but there's also a lot more of them. Like literally, the college league is like 4 times the size of the NFL, and the rosters themselves are double. So you're looking at 8x.
I would
no
need.
way you'd be able to. There's no way you'd be able to play that many people $20,000. You're not making that much.
I'm not expecting $20,000, but like if I have NIL deals, I need a customized jersey. I need a customized jersey and skins.
Even if you downloaded, even if you took that 20,000 and divided it by 8, what you'd get like $2,000, a little and some change.
That's
and
not
they'll
my.
still scoff at that.
Mike Wright is the QB's name, by the way. No, my point is, if you're gonna do, then you got to treat it like the soccer, or the WNBA, or whatever. Like, hey, if I get to be in this game and I get to advertise my NIL deals for my character, you got to put that in the game and give me like, I don't know, 5% off, 10% off royalties for as long as I'm in the game and in school. That's fair. I mean, you're not going to get a lot, but if you get a small royalty check, let's say you got 2 years of eligibility left and you got 1 year of eligibility left, then yeah, that's cool. But I don't think they're going to get a huge lump sum up front. Now, if you're going to give me the guaranteed 500 and I can have custom skins for my...
I don't even think you could play royalties on the video game because that doesn't serve the model.
No, some people get like 30-cent royalty checks. You'd be surprised. Them royalty checks be small as shit.
But what I'm saying is you don't Why would EA Sports do that?
Hey,
They want people to buy the new game every year. They don't want people to keep playing the same old game,
but
even though they do.
but you
They
can
want
pay for
people to buy
skins.
the new game every year.
You can
So
charge
that's
them
why
for
they
skins.
license it.
I get it, but you can charge for skins for certain players. Like, oh, I got a Bojangles sleeve. You want to play? You want to play a Bojangles sleeve? You can buy this at the PlayStation Store, and I get a cut of that.
Kenny, that's a whole other issue about microtransactions and betting, and that's a whole thing with fucking Fortnite and Apple. You should look it up.
I mean, it's
Nah.
pretty
It's
on
not that
brand though
simple.
for EA.
Okay.
I get that. That's what I'm saying. I don't see how they're gonna get more than 500.
Yeah, but EA
But
is
if you
also
say-
in a soup for that because of that, and that's why. And Nintendo is too. They're all in fucking hot shit for microtransactions right now.
Yeah.
Nintendo?
Yeah,
I
Yep.
mean, I don't. When I think in it, I don't think in the microtransaction. I mean, I can't even think of a microtransaction-based game that Nintendo sells.
exactly. That's the whole thing. But they had those fucking random boxes that you could buy where it was like you get a special fucking item. It was a whole thing. You could look it up.
Nintendo.
Yes,
The games.
that's why Nintendo people are so mad because they're like that's like literally like 3 years ago the CEO shitted on microtransactions and about how it takes away from the fairness of the game and creates haves and have-nots, and then they have this fucking game where you pay a sum and then you randomly get a fucking item, and they're like, yeah, what the fuck? So now they're being sued over that.
I didn't even know that any Nintendo game had microtransactions.
That is very interesting. That is.
Yeah. That they're not supposed to. Like, that's what their thesis and manifesto is, that it's unfair, but they've done it, so that's why they're in a lawsuit right now. But they all are. They're all in some sort of fucking controversy over microtransactions.
The Nintendo Switch does not support in-game purchases.
This, I'll send you a link.
I mean, that's what the Nintendo.
I'm driving. I can't tell you exactly what it is right now, but I'm telling you.
I mean, like microtransactions is a huge big deal in like 100%, like 99% of games. But Nintendo just wasn't the one. I don't know. Sorry. Please continue without me. Ignore.
I mean, that's good to know. Like, that kind of makes the situation more difficult as far as them wanting a certain amount of money. But I mean, if it's going to be an NIL collective, like, it has to be a pot for the next generation of guys, not just this class. Because Caleb Williams could get a much better deal on his own. But what about that transfer defensive tackle who's like a 68 overall? Like, how much are you going to pay him? But I think that's when you would have to do something like in the, what's it called? Something verse. Fucking spacing out on the name. Pete, you know what it is.
Metaverse?
Yeah, the metaverse. Like, I think that you'd have to do some shit like in the metaverse to where you could pay for a character and get it downloaded into the game if you're going to play online. But, like, that's a third party thing, and that's a separate, like, oh, you create a player that you pay for in the metaverse and then play for it in another game. Like, that's a whole nother fucking batch of red tape that they would have to deal with. So, yeah, I kind of agree. It's I mean, if it's me, if you're asking Kenny in 2014, hey, you want $500 for this? You're probably not going to get residuals, but you could say you're on the game. Yeah, sure, I'd take it. Back then.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't have the power. I wouldn't have the power or the leverage.
How many teams are in NCAA? 125?
128, I think. Say 128.
And how many people are on a roster? What, like
90?
130?
90 to, if you're counting walk-ons, shit, like 90 to 120. 90 usually. And the transfer portal, that's a big-ass database.
Yeah, bro.
That's a lot.
Pretty much already, they're pretty much already paying $7 million in licensing,
That's a lot of money in licensing.
and that's not even counting the fucking game engine, development, the ops, the DevOps, the fucking security, cybersecurity, all the fucking payment processors, the distributors, the fucking printers, the cover, all that shit, bro. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It just doesn't. I don't see a model working where they're gonna pay people fucking 10 grand, and especially when not everyone has the same amount of NIL to bring to the table. So, yeah, I don't know.
Tis true.
I mean, it could be somehow incentive based at some point, based on like performance, starting something like that. But that would be too complicated for just one video game to like have to keep track of a person to person basis.
Exactly.
True.
I mean, I feel like 90% of these players are like, no one's going to know who they are except like fans of said team. And I feel like if you're like a second string linebacker for like, I don't know, South Carolina Gamecocks, like I would take $500.
Yeah, I feel like
And more than likely, like Nikki, you're not gonna buy the game because of whatever fucking player. You're gonna buy the game because you're an OU fan or a Tom Moog fan. College football is different.
I would just buy the game. I would just buy the game because I liked the older games.
then you got to
Like,
watch
I
all
bought
your
Madden
OU
this year
players
because
transfer
John
and
Madden
leave.
was on it. I bought Madden this year because John Madden was on it. That's the only reason why I bought Madden this year. So, like, yeah, that's name, image, and likeness. But that's pro sports. That's different than college sports.
He
Like,
died, so
it's much more regional and
nostalgic.
it's much more regional and nostalgic. Yeah, there's it's different. So
Yeah.
NCAA sold over 1 million copies. Fun.
They would just
I
have
mean,
to.
I guess they could. I mean, but yeah, it's
I mean, they
It's
played a
close.
shit ton more this time.
across multiple
but yeah.
game consoles too. So, it's doable
All right, Kenny.
for the
Next.
stars. But yeah, next up, USC dropped their Big Ten schedule. The 2024 and 2025 schedule, home and away. Also, they're playing Nevada 2027 at home, and they're playing Georgia Southern September 6th next year. Or no, 2025, my bad. All right, so for the Big Ten schedule, they're playing Illinois, Iowa, Michigan.
Nobody cares, bro. Can we preempt this?
No, this is a USC
overtime.
fucking Big Ten schedule. It kind of matters because they're
Nobody
playing in the Big
cares,
Ten.
bro. You're talking about games in fucking 2 years, bro.
It kind of
We
matters.
might not even be alive. The world could fucking fall into fucking multiverse. Nobody
Jesus.
cares, bro. We got other shit.
Well,
You got 3 full ass segments, bro.
all right, fine. Fuck it. We'll keep interrupting. Cool. This are you okay, bro? Like, did you like? Sheesh.
Okay, Mario Kart Tour does not count.
Say what now?
That's-
It's still Nintendo, though. They still own it.
Didn't Soldier Boy get sued
It's
for
like
trying to
it's an
rip
App
off
Store app,
Nintendo?
it's not an actual game.
It's still Nintendo,
It's
though.
free. But it's free. You get it free on the App Store. It's like
But
different
it's
than
still
paying
Nintendo.
$60 for 2K just to have to purchase more contracts or whatever. But I
It's
get
not,
it.
though. Nintendo fans are really outraged by it. I'm just telling you.
Touchdown or turnover. Do this one since Nikki's drinking. All right, so the Suns hired Frank Vogel on a 5-year, $31 million contract. Touchdown or turnover.
So, championship coach, plays defense. And yeah, they're getting Chris Paul the fuck out of there.
Bro, Do you count the bubble championship as a legitimate championship, Pete?
Yes. Yes.
Do you count it more to Frank Vogel and what he was doing, or more to what LeBron and a healthy AD was doing, motivated by the death of Kobe Bryant?
If Frank Vogel was the coach of this Los Angeles Lakers team, they win at least one game versus Denver. Probably two.
That's not saying much at all.
No, that's saying a lot because he's that much of a difference maker for them.
But they still lose.
Vogel was also very successful in Indiana. He was made in Orlando, but he was great when he came to the Lakers. And so I don't think you should just discount him because he won it in the bubble. If anything, that makes it harder.
Interesting. I mean, I guess that's just the guy that the new owner was comfortable with, even though Monty Williams fucking dragged them out of obscurity and nothingness and made them a viable team. But hey, whatever. Next up, the Bills sign linebacker Leonard Floyd to a 1-year deal. Touchdown to turnover.
I'm going to say it's a touchdown because, one, he already knows how to play across from Vaughn. Two, you know that if Vaughn recovers, you have a lengthy athletic player that can fill in for him. They have a couple other edge rushers there as well, so he just makes their rotation that much deeper. And obviously, you need as much pass rush as you can playing the fucking Aaron Rodgers-led Jets, the fucking Titans.
The Titans, bro.
No, the Titans aren't in that division. The fucking Dolphins.
I'm about to say.
And
Titans are
the Pats.
The Titans are like a 4-win team, bro. Yeah.
Titans are not in that division.
Yeah, I know.
Say what?
I corrected myself. Thanks, guys.
AFC South.
You guys want to steamroll me anymore?
What?
Nothing. Next.
No, we just couldn't hear you, bro.
Yeah. So the Wizards
All right,
are.
let's see. Oh,
Wizards-
go ahead.
Yeah, you
I'll
want
do that.
you want to read the next one?
Okay, I have it here. So sorry, I'm bad at my job right now.
It's okay.
I think decided to not load all of a sudden.
The Wizards hiring the Thunder's Will Dawkins as GM.
I mean, it's a touchdown. Look at what the Thunder have built.
Shy Gilly. How sick are you as a Clippers fan that they traded him? Eight. Hey, did you fall asleep in your car?
I guess he's really broken up about it.
Or he's getting out of the car?
Probably that too.
Say yes, a touchdown though. The Wizards need all the help they can get. They're awful.
Hmm.
And shit, if he can finesse what they did, why not? I just don't see any generational talent coming out of the pipe anytime soon. They got Wemby, but it's still too early to tell for Wemby, so we'll see. Another one, I'm going to throw this in because I forgot to say it during college football. But Jack Swarbrick, the Notre Dame athletic director, stepped down after 8 years. Manti Te'o thing, the deals to get them to, play in the ACC. They had a half and half kind of schedule where they're still independent, but they're also playing an ACC schedule in mostly every other sport. I'd say he did a pretty damn good job as AD. And unlike USC's former AD, Mike Bond, he didn't kind of resign in disgrace or controversy. So I'm going to say it's a touchdown for Notre Dame's athletic director stepping down, Jack Swarbrick. I don't know what the hell Pete's doing, but whatever. All right. So next up, the Suns expected to waive Chris Paul. Or they waived Chris Paul. I think that's a touchdown for the simple fact that it's just not gonna work with those three. Like he's holding the team back by being injured,
Mhm.
and AD and Booker are gonna be what the team is built around. And you can kind of feel a younger guy in that point guard, or try to get a young dude coming off a contract. But there's no point in keeping Chris Paul, especially at his number, and you know he's going to get injured again. It's kind of pointless. What's it?
All right. I've always had a soft spot for him, to be honest, but I don't know. I can't really continue defending him, you know.
He has many soft spots.
Yeah.
You ain't shit, Pete.
He's just so likable. Like he's such a likable guy to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like cornballs.
Who's a bigger cornball, Chris Paul or Russell Wilson, though?
Russell by 1.5 million, bro.
Ooh, that's a close one, man. I don't know.
I
That's
mean,
like a state. That's like a Texas State Fair level corn dog.
wow.
Too, but like
For Russ?
I've always liked him. Like even back when like during the Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl, that whole thing. I felt so bad for him. Like I
So it was pity.
definitely dislike the
So you-
Seahawks.
You pity like
So
him.
yes, Dickie likes cornballs. You got it.
Yeah.
So, I heavily dislike the Seahawks, and I always have. But I don't know. I've always just had a soft spot for him, I guess. I used to think he was really hot when I was a kid too, so that was probably part of it.
Yeah, I'm really laughing at the next thing on this rundown. I'm not even going to
He
read
looks
it.
like he was born like 30 years too late.
Me?
No, Russ. He looks like
God
he should be in the 70s with the Jerry curl.
I mean, I don't know. He rocks it. I think he's. I don't know.
He
Really?
this hurts my stomach. This hurts my stomach, and my stomach already hurts. Jesus.
Because you're imagining Russell Wilson in another multiverse in the 70s with this sweating out his Jerry curl.
Being cool, which he is incapable of doing.
Bro,
He's-
at least just say it alone. Like
Russell
let
Wilson
him do his true
cosplays
self.
what he thinks
Let
a
him
cool
live-
black
let him
dude
live his
is.
best life. Let him do his thing.
I mean,
Bro, his helmet is probably so stinky from all that hair product he puts in there.
I'm convinced he doesn't go to sleep until Sierra tells him to. I'm convinced he works
He got a
out at
hairline
home.
That makes mine look good.
I'm convinced he works out to only her music now.
He's the only guy who has a worse hairline than me.
No, his hairline is not worse than yours. He styles his hair differently. Your hairline is
I
straight
like
up.
his hair.
Pete's hairline is
With
straight
this-
up
But
baby.
this
And,
fucking
dog, you have a widow's
See that
peak. You
man's
can't talk.
sideburns, bro?
You have a widow.
Sideburns are nasty.
He's the only black dude who gets his
Why are you
sideburns
hating
cut
on this
off.
Poor man.
He's not poor. He's
Yeah.
rich. He's filthy fucking rich. He could buy this whole apartment complex.
Filthy rich. He's hot. He's got a hot wife, a family, and a contract, and he's working.
Is he hot?
Pete, you can't judge another man's hotness. What's wrong with you?
Why? Can I?
I don't
I
know.
can say
He's
I
a-
can say subjectively, he's a bottom.
objectively,
He's a bottom.
objectively top 10 in the league.
If he wasn't playing football, what is he in
He's
real
bottom
life?
10.
'Cause he's 5'9". He's like
bottom
5'10".
10 at the quarterback position.
Well, yeah, there's this trend going around TikTok that where girls would rank the teams by how hot their quarterbacks was, and so I did it, and I got Russ in the top 5.
So you got sucked into the social media trap. Got you.
No, it's just fun.
You
I mean,
Andrew
I
you
don't know.
Andrew Tated a grown man's looks. You know that, right?
I mean,
You reverse Andrew Tated.
Y'all are now owners of the hottest quarterback in the league, so
I mean, I'm a Raiders fan. I don't know what to tell you. Like
that's what I'm saying.
porn star Jimmy.
Porn star Jimmy, come on, man. You can't bro. Y'all can't tell me you look at that guy and not know he's the hottest man in the league. Like, and he knows he's hot.
I'm convinced he could play like a character in Hercules if there was a live action one. Like if they based it off the Disney one and not the Rock one, where the Rock was just playing the Rock. The Rock not playing the Rock. Never mind.
The Rock is just the Rock.
I mean, the fact that he's hot is kind of like makes him a little less hot because he's cocky with it, you know?
All right.
I don't know.
The Rock or Russell Wilson, since apparently you have like a thing for Both.
I had a huge crush on Dwayne Johnson growing up.
Did you now? It all makes sense.
Type, I guess.
It all makes sense. I ain't saying nothing else after that.
Corny?
I ain't
You
saying.
call Dwayne Johnson corny now?
He's measured. He's not really corny.
It's because he's a little dad.
He does Vin Diesel shit.
I love how much he like publicly loves his daughters. It's so cute.
He doesn't acknowledge his daughter who's wrestling because he doesn't want her to be in his footsteps, which is kind of cool. That's cool, like because his daughter's in NXT right now. All right, next one, and I got to do this just because the caption is so funny. So they said the PGA and Liv are merging, but really Liv is fucking buying the PGA. Let's just be honest. And Tiger Woods last year, he turned down $800 million from Liv, only to now have to work with Liv because Liv owns PGA now. Touchdown to turnover. How badly did he fuck up?
I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like that's not what.
They got that Saudi money. The PGA, like the Liv can do whatever it wants now.
As a boring white person who actually watches golf,
Yeah.
I can give you the rundown. The PGA Tour and the LIV Tour, they didn't actually merge. The company who owns the LIV Tour is merging with the PGA. So they're still going to be like kind of separate. And the company is liquidating into one. And the CEO guy of the PGA is still going to be the CEO guy. And so like the SIV or whatever, the Saudi Arabian thing that owns LIV is
money
still
guy.
going to be answering to the PGA. And so like the PGA still remains.
Yeah, of course. As a governing body.
Yes.
And Tiger turned down $800 million. I'd fucking be. That's worse than what Messi did.
With this move, it seems like the Live Tour will not exist in 2 years' time,
Or it will exist, and they just have ownership now. They just bought. They got the legitimacy they wanted from the PGA, and their golfers are like, "Fuck you guys! Now you have to have us at all your events. Try to kick me out of the Masters now. I have to be at Augusta."
Well,
So that infighting and that loyalty shit kind of doesn't mean anything now.
explain, I guess, but just based on like the vibes and everything that happened, like it's looking like the LIV is just going to disappear like the XFL did.
I've heard it from both sides. Like all week, I heard both sides for like both of what you're saying. So I really don't fucking know. I think we just have to let it play out.
I mean,
I just know Tiger Woods turned out $800 million.
Yeah, nobody was watching the fucking live tournaments on CW.
Wait,
Yeah,
that was on
yeah.
CW? Oh, what the fuck? That's gross.
Yeah.
That fucking CBS pulled out of the CW because CW is a joint merger between CBS and fucking Warner Brothers, and because of their relationship with the PGA, CBS was like, "Yeah, we're not fucking with the CW."
Yeah, definitely not. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, for sure.
The real loser in this is Tiger Woods, though. $800 million. You gotta feel sick. I'm gonna be loyal. $800 million later.
Like, it's not. It's just for someone like Tiger Woods who makes as much money as he does. It's not about the money because
$800 million? Shit. What would you do with $800 million right now? Of loyalty.
Golfers are pretty much like the richest athletes like in the world. People just don't realize that.
Yeah, because they just hit a fucking ball and wear nice outfits all day.
I
Golf drip is Hall of Fame tier. Even the shit that John Daly wears sometimes.
like
I don't
they,
know. All I
they
know
could have
is
offered Tiger Woods every single dollar in the world. They could have offered him set like $1 trillion, and he wouldn't have taken it.
That's Saudi
Because
money.
for someone like
it
Tiger,
would have hurt his brand. It would have hurt his brand more, especially with all the endorsement money that he gets and loses.
$800 million.
Tiger's been on a whole tirade trying to restructure his brand because the cheating stuff and the infidelity,
The crazy ex-girlfriend who really thinks she's entitled to his money. That's some wild shit too. Tried to extort that man.
He cheated on like 2 of his wives, and also he got a DUI. He's not a good person. But
What does that have to do with his girlfriend, like trying to snake $30 million from him because he broke up with her?
Yeah, but he made her sign an NDA.
She lied about the NDA and then admitted she signed an NDA.
There was some allegations there. So
even if he cheated on her, I'm just saying, like, that's kind of wild. Like, you would never see the reverse of that ever.
Again, there were some like abuse allegations floating around.
I mean, I could be accused of abusing a child a choir full of deaf kids, but if I didn't do it, like, is it fair to say, oh, well, you got accused of something, but you didn't do it, and it's not proven? Like, that's
so. I wouldn't be surprised. Like
for him, he should have just took the $800 million. Because I mean, bro, it's over for Tiger. Let's be honest. Like, he's not winning another major.
It's not, dude. John Daly's still making fucking money on endorsements.
No, you can make money, but he's not winning a major.
You're
another
not
major.
Listening to us, Kenny.
He just won like a year ago.
Is he winning the Masters? He didn't win at the Masters. Like the Masters?
Masters like 2 years ago. 3 years ago.
It had to be like 3 because it's been a minute.
It
was.
Oh
my God, Kenny.
He's not catching. He's not catching old boy anytime soon.
No, but winning the Masters 3 years ago isn't like winning the Super Bowl 3 years ago. Like that's still a huge deal that he won the Masters 3 years ago, especially with his age bracket and his injuries and his come up story. It's huge.
He went out of nowhere. Yeah.
I mean, do you think that was his last run? How many more he got left in him?
We're not talking about golf.
I'm just saying, like, I get that he had a great run a couple of years ago, but
you're not listening to us though, Kenny. What
I'm
we're
listening.
telling you is he's going to make that $800 million over the course of his life in endorsements.
Oh yeah, I get that.
More harm as the fucking great American story that he is.
But isn't it kind of shitty that like
Tiger Woods is like the favorite golfer of every middle-aged like white man that is a golf fan, which is most golf fans. And if he were to go to the LIV tour, he would be like, in their words, you know, like the Saudi sellout. And so it would completely tarnish his like American patriotic whatever brand with like the majority of golf fans, and he would end up losing more than $800 million over time.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
So
the other side is he could have had this could have been him turning into Hollywood Hulk Hogan with NWO. That's all I'm saying. That could have been the heel turn. Sometimes heel turns work. But hey. Speaking of which, I don't know that Messi turned down like I think it was from a Saudi group too, but he turned down like a 3-year, $1.6 billion contract to come to the MLS. I don't know if I could have done that. I'm going to be honest. Even if the team he played on was shit. Am I really?
But he's getting money from Apple and he's getting money from.
You do it? Would you turn down 3 years, $1.6 billion to come get into the MLS market?
Yes.
What's going on? Is your voice writing on the rundown?
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
I was just going to let him do that so I could make fun of him later.
Oh, fuck. I accidentally hit a button on my phone. I was like, oh, shit.
But yeah, no, again, it's a similar situation where it's like, yeah, he could have grabbed that fucking 1.5 billion, or he can come to Miami, which has a huge Argentinian community, and quasi retire and still get a bunch of money and build his brand much bigger in the United States and really help kind of bridge the gap and make soccer at least in the top 3 sport conversation. Because right now, I mean, MLS MLS has fans.
Like, not what it used to be.
They have huge fan bases, but they're just not nationally relevant. Like, they're not in the national conversation of sports right now. And with Messi and the MLS, there's a chance that could happen.
All right, next one. Frank Clark signed with the Broncos.
Yeah, that's a touchdown. He's going to get Pat Mahomes twice a year. They had a need at edge rusher. It was only like a $7 million deal. So yeah, touchdown all the way around for both sides.
I think it's a turnover. I think they should have went after Yannick. Let's be honest. Frank Clark only activates in the playoffs. If you get there. I'd rather give that same amount of money to Yannick.
You think Russ recruited Frank Clark? Russ and Frank Clark should have a podcast.
Why?
That would just be the weirdest random thing.
Why though?
They should spar. They should have.
He played in Seattle, but after the fact. Played in Seattle, so I guess him and Russ are gonna meet up again. All right,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Demarcus Robinson signed with the Rams.
Snooze, turnover.
I mean, he'll get like 30. He'll get like 30 catches.
That keeps hanging on in the league.
I mean, he's a possession receiver.
Fast.
He's not fast. He's
rings.
not fast. He runs like a 4.6. He's not fast. He's a possession guy. Marcus Robinson was never a fast dude. He's just a possession receiver who moves from team to team. Speaking of fast guys, Colts got Brashard Perriman. I don't know how the fuck he's still in the league.
Rashad Perriman?
Yeah, he got signed by the Colts.
He had a good year like 3 years ago, that Tom Brady first year.
I don't know how he kudos to him for sticking around, man, because boy, what a horrible first round pick that was.
I mean, he stuck around longer than Kevin White.
Nah, he really became a first round pick because he ran like a 4.23 or 4.25 at UCF's Pro Day. That's what got him into the first round. That's the crazy part. He ran a fast ass 40. It was unofficial. All right, last one. The Bills signed defensive tackle Ed Oliver, 4-year, $68 million contract extension.
Yeah, like you said, Kenny, salary cap doesn't matter. So it's a touchdown.
Told you it doesn't exist.
It does exist, but you can work your way around it if you know what you're doing.
It only exists when they don't want to pay you. Exists?
No, it exists. Ask the Cardinals.
That's just haters too, but like realistically, like with the deal Mahomes got, with the deal Lamar Jackson got, with the deal Jalen Hurts got, don't tell me you don't have my money. You have my fucking money. That's why you have accountants and people who can move shit around and people who like you have my money. You just don't want to give it to me.
Okay, can we move on?
You just don't want to pay me. Yeah, that's interesting. Like for him, I mean, I guess that was going to be the best deal he was going to get because I mean, it's not like he's been a world beater, but he's an integral part of their defense. All right, next up.
Please.
All you.
All right.
Thank God.
Take or a tangent. McDaniels has quote unquote no anxiety about Jimmy Garoppolo's availability, even though he isn't expected to return until training camp due to his injury.
I'm going to say that what the fuck did we expect McDaniels to say? Like, they made the decision. Like, that's what they're always going to say. And the fact is, Devontae Adams is still one of the best receivers in the league, so I don't think it really matters who's throwing the ball to him or what kind of chemistry they have. I think they'll figure it out. That's my take.
I'm so over the Raiders at this point with this shit. Like, any updates about Jimmy G until the preseason games start. That's where I'm at with it. Until I see him out there in preseason warming up with the ones, even if it's only for a series, don't tell me shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Like, not news until really we start keeping score. And it's what, 3 preseason games? So, like, wake me up when the preseason starts. Or shit, when September ends. I don't really care.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, someone had to say it.
None of us are original. All right. Next one. NBA is announcing the ruling on Ja Morant after the finals. Take or tangent.
I think it's good because, yeah, like Adam Silver said, it takes away from the great basketball that's being played in the finals. You know, you got 2 superstars, 2 teams, cultures that are playing, and that should be the focus. And so, once again, credit to the NBA and Adam Silver for once again showing that they're really the class of professional sports as far as handling crises.
No one
Kenny?
gives a shit. Like, the only thing that will bring me joy is knowing this punishment is going to, like...
Zion lost weight?
Oh, no, I got some shit for... Don't worry. Wait till we get to Zion's dumbass. This punishment is going to, like, hurt the feelings of all these little fucking they're Gen Zers now? His whole age group is going to be crying like babies on TikTok with this punishment. And it's like, you know what? Sometimes you need to punish stupidity. If you weren't...
Ain't no Gen Zer talking shit about his punishment. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying when he gets punished...
Story 40 times and you're going to have problems. I don't know.
But when he gets punished, everybody in his age bracket will be like, oh, it's not fair. They're going to be wearing them ass TikToks, be like, free Ja or whatever. And I'm going to just be like, in my era, we couldn't do shit like that. Pete, you and I know, like, no one in our era could get away with doing shit like that. Publicly on the internet, antagonizing it. They were shooting shit up and fighting people.
Nobody was flashing their gun on their Instagram lives 10 years ago. So that's a hard comparison to make, no?
I mean, they weren't recording it live. They were busting their guns. No, people had guns and they were busting them. It was more regional. Like, but with the knowledge of knowing, hey, people are getting canceled, people are getting caught, and then you want to sit up here and just keep fucking gun toting like an idiot in a city where they would actually cover up your stupid activity because Zebo was there, so they know how to treat stars, and you managed to keep getting in your way and pissing down your own leg all over your kneecap. I just don't understand it. Like, so whatever punishment he gets, he deserves it, and I really don't even care. Like, I'm not going to kick his back in any further. He's going to have to deal with whatever he's doing to himself. I just don't really care to hear about it anymore, whether this is the NBA Finals or not. Because it's just dumb. It's just dumb to begin with.
Kenny's spending a lot of wind talking about shit he says he doesn't want to talk about.
I mean, you talk about Zeke for like 30 minutes, so let's talk about it. Not really, though.
You're kind of an antagonizer to me. That's why I was gaslighting you and not answering earlier.
You just so you admit you were gaslighting us, and then the whole time you said we were gaslighting you.
Guys.
Yeah.
When you guys were like, I was intentionally not answering because.
Yeah, I know.
That's
childish.
Know how to run a fucking 2-hour show. I'm just saying, this only happens when Kenny's mic. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, this only happens when you have like the free reign to just bullshit off mic. You just troll. Next question. Balls was hilarious.
Safety Damar Hamlin somehow returns to practice before Michael Thomas.
That was petty.
Oh,
What do you think you wrote, Kenny?
I wrote that. Thank you.
I definitely didn't write that. I was shocked when I wrote it. I was shocked when I read it. I was like, God damn.
Also, he launched a CPR tour to raise awareness.
Good for him. Good for him. Bad for Michael Thomas because A.T. Perry's going to take his spot.
What was wrong with him again? He had like a big toe injury, right? Like 2 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah, this is playing like
How are
3
you going
years.
to die?
Hurt his
How are you
pinky.
going to die? Come back to practice over some guy that stubbed his toe.
Damn.
It's crazy.
And he's not even the top 5 OSU receiver in the league right now.
Yeah, not anymore. He wasn't even like the best receiver at Ohio State when he was there.
Yeah.
Gary Terry was better.
Next.
All right. The NFL's investigating Isaiah Rodgers for possible betting, and Colts bar him from practice.
No comment.
I think the NFL needs to figure out what the fuck they're going to do. And I think, honestly, all the leagues kind of need to figure out what the fuck they're going to do because the gambling shit isn't going away. What is it, like 27 states are now legalized? I believe there's like 5 states rolling out this next year and next year. And then in addition to that, there's another like 10 states with different legislation in motion. So overall, there's only going to be more opportunities for players to bet. And so the NFL needs to find some sort of middle ground because clearly just telling people to abstain and not do it is not working. Much like weed and much like everything else, like there's certain things that highly testosterone men like to partake in. And gambling has always been one of them. There's always been gambling in locker rooms. There's always been gambling on regular shit. And now that it's accessible to everyone and now that it's a part of the game, really, because these teams are signing deals and the leagues are signing deals and sports books are opening up in arenas. Like, it's becoming an integral part of sports and sports media. So telling people just not to do it is not realistic, and it's only going to get harder for that to be a realistic solution with things rolling out. So the NFL and all the other leagues need to figure out a way that can control it, minimize it, set some rules, sure, but just telling people not to do it, like, is not realistic. And further, this probe, they're saying, is probably bigger than Rodgers. There's probably a lot more players doing similar things, paying people to make bets for them, etc. So, yeah, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. But, yeah, if you're a player and you're a fucking millionaire, bro, do your due diligence. Like, you should know what the gambling policy is. Kenny has diabetes and knows the gambling policy. Like, there's no reason for you to say, I don't know.
So you're saying I gamble with my life and even I know my sugar levels? Is that the episode title?
I mean, it could be, but no, that's just my new thing. Kenny has diabetes and he's still on time.
Kenny has diabetes and he still knows about the war in Iraq?
Jace.
Well, eloquently said, my dude.
Yeah, no comment.
Last one on this one. The Chicago Bears are considering abandoning their stadium upgrade and expansion plan after their property tax assessment was too expensive.
The Bears family owned? I don't even know who owns the Bears.
I don't know, but that's mad embarrassing. Can you imagine not like being able to afford making your stadium better?
Yeah, the Hollis Hall, Lake Forest. Wait, Yeah, so it's still under family ownership. Okay, so that makes sense. They probably don't have money like that. Right? Yeah, she's pretty much just like all her money's on the football team. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. They don't have capital like that. They can't afford that reoccurring costs every year. But yeah, I think the answer is she probably should sell the team.
Mm.
They own 20%. It's a family trust. So yeah, they should probably just sell it. I mean, like that's what the Raiders had to. I mean, or take on Tom Brady like the Raiders have to help them get more capital.
That's not confirmed though, is it?
What good is the family with no trust?
Not yet, but I mean, it's in
I'll
motion.
fucking kill myself when it does happen.
What
The
good is
checks are in escrow. The money's in escrow. The money's not in Tom Brady's account. It's happening. Just needs to be finalized and put into the end zone, but it's on the 1 yard line.
what good is a family with no trust?
That's the Lakers.
It's Vin
They're
Diesel.
just
'Cause
recovering.
my prediction is, I don't really give a shit about this Bears headline. All I know is Vin Diesel. Like Transformers and Fast and the Furious are gonna have a fucking connecting movie in our lifetime. That's all I know.
Like when Vin Diesel showed up in Guardians.
Yeah, it's gonna be a multiversal fucking situation.
Crossover?
Which translates to family.
Fair fade.
Fair fade.
Hopkins is released by the Arizona Cardinals. They said it's the best thing for the team. It's really no big deal for him.
Yeah.
Fair fade.
That's fair. He wants to get the fuck out of there. The Cardinals got enough fades going on. Isaiah Simmons.
The head coach said that. That is
Yeah.
it's no big deal that they're releasing Hopkins.
Yeah, it's no big deal because their defense is dog shit, and they lost their best corner, and they didn't fucking renew the 5th-year option on their fucking once in a lifetime linebacker prospect who has all this speed, and they don't know where to put him. Then they get mad because he hasn't produced at a high level. But if you have a guy who's 6'4", 240, running a 4.39, who is playing slot corner, maybe, just maybe, he won't have the best coverage grade. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, the Cardinals are dumb and shit. Yeah, it's just
I don't
addition
know
by
how
subtraction.
you always take everything Cardinals and turn it into something about Isaiah Simmons, bro.
'Cause I want
Like, you
him to
make
get
me
traded
wanna
to the
root
Raiders.
against Isaiah Simmons.
I want him to get
Like,
traded
you
to.
bring up Isaiah Simmons so much, you make me want to root against him. Like, you make me look forward to the point where he's not in the league, and maybe you'll stop talking about it.
Nah, because then I'll be like, dang, remember Isaiah Simmons?
Yeah, bro.
Came as
like, for real,
prospects, went
so-
to the wrong team. The Cardinals ruined all their first-round picks. Name the last first-round pick that was, like, great in Arizona. Patrick Peterson?
Murray,
Now you're being facetious.
DJ Humphries.
Now you're being a liar. What did I say about Florida tackles?
All right, fuck.
They're only good at right tackle. It's the only thing they're good for is right tackle or maybe center or guard.
Chris Paul saying that random kids make fun of his kids for him not winning a championship. Fair fade.
That's a fade. That's why he got to come to the Lakers, bring Melo out of retirement, finally form that big three they always talked about. That'll get bounced in the fucking second round.
Yeah, there's no point in doing that.
Imagine he goes
Lakers
to
aren't winning shit, bro.
Imagine he goes to the Lakers after all this time.
Bron just got to give it up, man. Like,
Imagine,
Lakers aren't winning a shit.
imagine he says fucking and goes to Philly.
Even if they got Kyrie, bro, like they're not winning a shit.
Yeah, because the roster is horribly flawed. and they don't have the money.
It's not even that. They just don't have a good team.
That's
LeBron's
what I'm
not
saying.
the top 5 player in the league anymore. Like, he doesn't even
LeBron's
play in the regular season anymore.
he's stunted as far as his position and how much money you're paying him, which I think he's gonna entitled like $57 million in the
And
next year or
besides
two.
that, bro, Jokic ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
KD's back in the West. Dame
Yeah.
Lillard might move. Kyrie might move.
Lillard
Like,
needs to just go
there's
to
a
the
lot
fucking
of
Heat.
dominoes to fall.
Kyrie just needs to stay fucking and go to the Knicks and quit playing.
They
I
don't
think
need
he'll
it.
stay
They got
around.
Brunson. They don't need it. They got Brunson.
Would you rather have Kyrie or Jalen Brunson?
If you ask Knicks fans, they would say Jalen Brunson.
But then,
Mavs fans, they probably would say Jalen Brunson too, honestly.
I don't know. The general consensus from Mavs fans have been pretty positive about Kyrie so far. They're in the Kyrie honeymoon phase right now.
you have to get rid of Luka once you realize Luka. Yeah, Luka's gonna go, and one of my coworkers is like, Luka's gonna somehow end up on the Knicks. I'm like, good luck with that. You're gonna have to give up a lot. And honestly, Luka don't play defense, so eventually that offensive shit gonna get tired.
I don't know. I think that Luka and Kyrie surprisingly play pretty complementary basketball.
So did he.
They just don't have any defense.
So did Porzingis, and then they fucking are beefing from different European countries, and it didn't work. So one of them had to go.
I mean,
Luka can play with anybody; they're just not going to win.
That's way entirely different. I mean,
Yeah, don't get him started. I'm trying to end the show.
He can play with anybody; they're just not going to win.
That's why I don't acknowledge some stuff. It just takes you farther in the Kenny entrapment, octopus spider take.
What the fuck? What does that even mean?
Your takes are like a fucking octopus waiting in a deep ocean. You just suck people in.
You mean a squid? You don't even have a fucking
Whatever.
type of.
You know what I mean.
No, I didn't.
Could be an octopus.
You say shit that makes no sense. Do you know the
Why
difference between an
couldn't it be
octopus
an
and a squid?
octopus?
What's the difference between an octopus and
Why
a squid?
Why couldn't it be an octopus?
Do you know the difference between an octopus and a squid?
octopi or
Yeah, octopus has 8.
That's it. That's all you know, Pete. I think Nikki knows. Let Nikki tell it.
Octopi are carnivores too. They eat fish.
Yeah, squid will fucking eat a human though.
I mean, squid are harmless unless it's like a giant squid.
The vampire squid, that fucking thing scares me. Squid or
Yeah,
aliens?
but live where there's no light. Like humans
Oh,
are.
God, I did not mean for this to go off the rails nowhere.
See what you did, Pete? But nah, okay, we can just skip to the next one. Journalist.
Are you sure?
Journalist
sure?
Samantha Rivera stiff-armed a drunken fan on live TV during the Stanley Cup Finals. I think it was Game 2. It was beautiful
Yeah,
to
I
watch.
actually know her from NHJ. I met her a couple times. She's cool. But yeah,
She clearly works out
uh,
because she stiff-armed the shit out of that boy. He didn't
yeah,
get
they
no,
should
he didn't
probably
get no
use her on
screen
the
time.
ice. Maybe they could actually defend some goals. The Florida Panthers.
We all know Vegas is winning it. Shout out
We'll see.
to Liam.
Florida's been coming back all season long, so there's hope.
Yep.
Honestly,
Same
I
thing with
could
the
not care any less. But if I had to just pick one, I think the Panthers' story is a little bit cooler.
You're white and you don't like
Sure.
hockey, but you like golf? What? No, I'm just playing.
That's what I'm saying.
Tis a
That's what I'm
joke.
saying. Don't take it.
Tis a
Don't
joke.
just
It was a
don't
joke.
respond.
This fan clearly
Don't
let me
respond.
down here because we exited first round embarrassingly. I don't want
Fuck.
to look at the playoffs.
Fuck, I wish she didn't take the bait.
See? Oh my God. Here we go.
All right, next up, again, Travis Rudolph found not guilty of murder charges. He beat 4 charges, so it's either like he would have got him and then he'd spend the rest of his life in prison, or he skates on all of them. He skated on all of them, and I think they gave him his gun back and they took his ankle monitor off. He hit the gritty after the trial, and then Meek Mills, he was partying with Meek Mills. So yeah,
He hit the gritty after the trial.
Outside. that was corny. I was like, I mean, I would get it. Like, yeah, your freedom was almost taken away.
Hit the gritty after the trial, bro. Show some fucking. Be solemn, bro.
I
You
mean,
still
his
killed
brother almost got beaten to death. So, from his perspective, he's like,
Oh, he killed somebody no matter what, though. someone's life got ended because of him.
They came there with violence and they were beating. They jumped his brother.
This isn't a touchdown. Like, you killed somebody.
Oh no, yeah. The gritty afterward was uncomfortable to watch because it's like, homie, you could have like wait till you got home and did the gritty.
That's crazy.
Like, that's the one thing I don't like. Like, kids just be doing celebration dances for no fucking reason nowadays. It's just, ugh. He should know better because I think he's closer to my age. Me and Pete, I'm just like, why are you doing the gritty? I mean, like, you beat a murder charge. Congratulations. There was right and wrong. Like, he didn't even know that his girlfriend at the time was married. That whole situation is just a fucking. There's gonna be. Don't worry, there'll be a true crime or First 48. There'll be a reenactment of it on Lifetime or some shit. We'll see a movie about this in like 3 years. I'm gonna watch it, and Black Twitter will tell you all about it. Zion Williamson got 3 porn star chicks that we know of. He hooked up with 3 of them, and like 2 of them are coming out to air him out. They're mad that he got one of them pregnant. He got a 30-year-old porn star pregnant. He's 22. They had the baby shower. He said something about being a stepdad or stepping up or some shit. And the other 2 are on our IG talking shit about him. Just wondering how a 22-year-old got a 30-year-old pregnant and nobody in his fucking inner circle said, hey, you're kind of almost a bust. Maybe you shouldn't be getting porn stars pregnant and then have your DMs leaked about how bad you were simping, because your decision-making on the court and clearly at a dinner table is not very good. Maybe you should, I don't know, not spill your seed into an older woman, especially someone doing porn, where you're probably going to get judged and it's going to be a bad look for your PR team to try to clean this up when you got multiple porn stars and girls coming out shitting on your character and you're supposed to be an expecting father. I don't know. Maybe you should have probably rethought this current situation. Like, clearly you doing everything but playing good basketball, getting chicks pregnant, eating too fucking much, hurting your foot, not making the playoffs. I just don't understand Zion Williamson. Like, I've never seen so much stupidity from, like, preventable stupidity from one person in my life who was the number 1 overall pick and wasn't a bust. Oh shit, my phone. All right. Anybody else? That whole situation's a fade, in my opinion.
Okay, but what is necessary? Don't get me wrong. Like, he wants to work on his image, whatever. But the main thing I saw that people were kind of shitting on him on the internet for was that he, like, got a girl pregnant and then was, like, simping over other porn stars, and, like, they were posting him on the story saying, like, you're an expecting father and you're over here fucking other porn stars. Like,
it's nasty work.
I mean that's not my cup of tea, but, like, why? I don't understand why that's, like, the worst thing ever.
He's 22.
Don't sleep with someone else.
He's 22. He got one porn star pregnant, and then the other porn star chicks he was messing with came out, exposed his whole DMs, and it's like, bro, you're not making smart.
What's wrong with that necessarily? Like, it's not my cup of tea. I don't like, but whatever. But, like, why does it make him a bad person? So, like,
no, I said he's making bad life choices because you're 22, getting washed up porn stars that nobody's ever heard of pregnant, and you think that's a good idea. But when all your money's gone and she takes you for child support and half of whatever you get from the NBA deal, then you're going to be crying 10 years from now, like Antoine Walker, like, oh my God, nobody's there for me. Bro,
that's not the aspect of it I was talking about, though. Like, I saw a lot of it on the internet.
Oh yeah, the internet's just full of shit, though.
Talking bad about him for, like, going after other porn stars whilst getting one pregnant.
Oh no, they were ongoing things. Like, so it's just all coming out now. This whole situation was behind the scenes. And then he went public with one chick, and then the other chicks are like, what the fuck? That's how you break the news? So he's sloppy on his game, and it's just a bad look.
I guess. I don't know.
Especially with like the fact that he really has not lived up to the hype from being drafted. He has not lived up to the hype.
Just overreacting about it, I guess, but I don't care about him. I'm not here to defend.
I think it's just a slow news week, and people just want some shit to talk about, honestly. Because
when NBA season,
how many NBA players have how many baby mamas, and how many NBA players have fucked each other's bitches, fucked porn stars, and fucked celebrities? Like,
true.
It's not that big of a deal. It's just that Zion
is the former number one overall pick.
When he was supposed to be, and you see him not playing, and you see him tricking off with these girls, and it's easy to just like bash him. But like, I think much like Ja, it's like everyone's making the jokes that they're both trying to waste their career and money and fame. But it's like, instead of coming at it from that place, like maybe someone just needs to get in his ear and have like a real talk with him.
Or maybe they did and he's not listening.
You need to just settle down.
I mean, with Zion, you got to remember, he's been pampered pretty much from the get-go. He was dunking on all those white boys who were like fucking my nephew size in high school. He was always like pampered. A lot of these athletes are pampered their whole lives. And then when they hit the real world, they get fucking played like suckers. He only got real adversity when he went to Duke. That was on the end of Coach K's run. So it wasn't like, the reins were tightening that much on him. His shoe exploded. Like, Zion, just from this point, was always, like, pushed as the next guy, and he's made nothing but bad decisions. And there's no way his CPA would be like, you know what you should go do? As a way to spend your money off, go get 3 porn stars pregnant. Go start a love triangle and make yourself look bad. Like, Ja's getting his back kicked in. You know what you should do for attention? Be out here simping and not, like, handling yourself. And he got family members in his life. It's just like, if you're not going to listen to reason, then I don't want to hear 10 years from now, what happened to Zion Williams? Oh, it's such a sad story. No, it's not. He made that fucking choice. And if he didn't listen to his mama and went on and married this chick or got her pregnant anyway, it's like, you should have listened, bro. You 22. What business you got getting a known porn star pregnant? That's already a bad look for you to begin with. Like, she may be a really nice person, but like,
oh my God, I can't
whatever. I'm just, yeah. Anyway, last one. This one's for you, Nikki. So Oklahoma.
Got more bread and more girls.
I'm really not. I'm really so okay. It's ridiculous. I actually like being alone. I don't even like people like that. I barely like your ass. So
I definitely don't like people, so it's fine.
Yeah, I could care less. I don't even value your opinion half the time. It's okay. So Oklahoma won their third.
I can tell by how you don't listen to me every day.
You still talking? All right. Oklahoma won their third national title in a row. They finished 61-1 with a 53-game winning streak to their record. This is like their sixth national title this decade. Oklahoma softball. Hasn't really gotten the coverage I thought it would. This is like more dominant than the UConn Huskies run.
Because it's women's is why.
It's women's it's softball, let's be honest.
Yeah, and people watch softball for the same reason people watch volleyball.
I think,
no, fuck you. I like softball.
Yeah, softball is fucking. Softball gets more respect than beach volleyball.
Softball is more fun to watch to me on TV than baseball.
And if they all shot from the belt up, would you still watch?
Yeah, definitely.
I
actually like softball.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it too. I watch softball. Baseball, I find it more interesting as well. I like the way the game's played more. I think softball's harder than baseball. Hot take.
Sure. Yeah, wow, that's a hot take. Because it's definitely not hard.
And even with volleyball, like, I'll watch women's volleyball, like, for the reasons that you're saying. Like, I'm not taking away from that.
I refuse to watch men's volleyball.
I would prefer to watch women's volleyball over men's volleyball because women play with, like, a lot more
Because
technique and
men
as a
don't
team.
have a process. They just smack it over the.
Yeah, they just want to fucking embarrass each other.
When
See who
dudes,
can jump higher.
men's volleyball is full of dudes who couldn't play football and couldn't play basketball or baseball. They couldn't play any other sport. So they're tall as shit for no reason. You're 6'8" playing fucking volleyball, and that's how you got a scholarship. Women's volleyball players be playing like 3 other sports and shit.
Yeah.
There's one chick, she played volleyball, softball, badminton, and she fucking swam. Like,
Damn.
But yeah, one of my friends from high school was on the first 2 championships for OU. So boomer.
Dang.
And also, isn't the women's Team USA in Oklahoma?
well, obviously that's kind of like the fucking juggernaut, mega hub.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're like the Alabama of softball, so it would make sense.
They really are.
Yeah. So,
I think they beat some
So,
team
yeah.
like 27-0 this year. They mercy
Well,
ruled a
it's-
bunch of teams.
What is the what is it? Oklahoma is a softball school, baby. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's definitely because when it comes to football, all they do is play soft.
yeah, don't take it. See, you're learning.
Like that Oklahoma
You're
Sooners,
learning.
right? Like
You,
the Oklahoma Sooners play football.
yes, I do. I watch a lot of Big 12. I watch all college football. I've watched
I'm
Liberty
talking about, like,
play
here-
Presbyterian.
I'm talking about in LA. Like you're an Oklahoma Sooners fan, bro.
You are, Kenny.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
You
Thule
watch
was my
more
favorite
OU
player. Fuck both of you. Thule was my favorite player, and we was the same high
You
school.
watch more OU football than SEC football.
I mean, if we're being honest, like only 2 of those dudes from OU actually play at USC. The other guy is a bench warmer, the corner. He might get more
if you're
play.
like, what is it? Like 4 members of your coaching staff worked at OU like 2 years ago.
So be it. People work everywhere.
All right, guys. Rants. Let's make them quick because we're at 2.5 hours. So.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else left to say other than,
Oh, are you sure?
shit. I mean, Oklahoma softball runs the state. Outside of that's crazy. Oklahoma has more championships in softball than the Thunder have ever. Crazy times.
Only existed for like less than 20 years.
Yeah, they were the Supersonics since I've been alive.
Oklahoma got 6 of their championships this decade. They're on a 3-peat.
All right, Kenny, rat.
My rant pretty much is, yeah, Oklahoma softball. That's fucking crazy. Imagine like how hard it is to get a scholarship there. Like that's wild to me. But 61-1, Jesus Christ! And then one of the girls, it's a black girl on the team. She was playing against 18-year-olds at like fucking 12, apparently. I know when she was like 10 or some shit. Like it was ridiculous. Like she was playing 18 and under, fucking against phenoms and just killing it. 61-1 is like insane. It should be talked about more. Hopefully
It's
we'll
like,
hear
it's
about
like
it
Oklahoma's 57 game football winning streak.
that nobody remembers. None of us were alive when it happened.
You remember apparently.
None of us were alive when it happened. I remember 55-19 though.
Sounds better though.
55-19 is more prominent in this era, this decade, not this decade, but this, century. But yeah, my nephew is doing really good in Pawnee trading. He's picked it up pretty quick. Happy about that. Finally got him to stop fucking standing up like mid, bowel movement. But he's warming up to the chair. He's chilling, doing his thing. So salute to Isaiah. And I'm just glad that like I'm not the one doing all the potty training. Cause fuck all that. I'll teach him to stand up to pee like when he gets a little bit older and he understands like not fucking high-fiving everybody when he does it. It's like, yo, relax. But also It took me 2 years to do it, but my nephew was also like understanding high fives, and he dapped me up yesterday. I was so proud. I almost cried a little bit. I was like, damn, it took long enough, but he finally found me worthy enough to high five back. And if you reach your hand out to him to shake his hand, he'll shake your hand back. Gives you eye contact too. So I'm proud of that. That's about it.
Nikki?
I don't have a lot this week. Last couple weeks, ever since I got back from Arkansas, I've been apartment hunting. I've been sorry, lost my train of thought. I've been apartment hunting, and I'm planning my engagement party right now. That's going to happen in a couple of weeks, and I'm just doing my regular work-related stuff, and I'm trying to get back into the gym after stopping for a while, and I feel like every single moment of my time is being so as soon as I get this engagement party and the lease signed, I'm going to feel a lot less stressed, I hope. So fingers crossed. I'm looking in mostly downtown LA right now. A little bit of Koreatown. I think there's one in Culver City and one in Inglewood that I'm looking at as well. We're trying to get a 2-bedroom because we want to have an office space. But I don't know, the prices are just so absolutely ridiculous that I don't know if we're going to be able to find anything. The rent is like $400 or $500 more expensive than it was for the same properties from last year. Like we were looking at Park La Brea last year for 2-bedroom for like $2,300, something like that, and those same 2 bedrooms 1 year later are like $2,900. And that's across the board in LA, and it's ridiculously frustrating how fast, like, I understand, like, you know, inflation and whatnot, like, yeah, but that quick is just insane to me. So fingers crossed, and I'll let you know how it goes.
All right. Well, for me, been running around the whole greater Los Angeles area for LA Tech Week. Been mostly on the west side in Venice and Santa Monica because that's where all the tech bros are. It's been an interesting experience. I've met some cool people. I've met a lot of phonies, weirdos. But yeah, that's just kind of what you expect from the LA Tech scene. It's been cool though, especially like going to like the POC events and meeting other entrepreneurs of color or VCs of color, basically people with money and people trying to solve problems. Like, it makes you feel like whatever your dream or whatever your issue is, like, it's possible to solve it, to build it. So I think that's cool. Something that helps me in my journey and also my day job. But yeah, outside of that, man, I've also been drinking a lot. So yeah, kind of tired. Been flexing my social skills for way too long. They've been dormant. And so I think that's why I've just been kind of fucking tired and wonky all week as well. But I'm getting back to it, so it's been good to get back out in the community and meet new people and all that good stuff. Hopefully something promising business-wise will come out of it, but not too hopeful on that front. But either way, it's just been cool to venture out of the house and meet some new people this past week at LA Tech. So yeah. Kenny, let's take us out. Are you there?
One, make sure like, subscribe, go to touchdownsandtangents.com, find all our content, follow us on all social media platforms. Shout out to the homie Eric, it's his birthday today. Yeah. And
Peace.